sure.
During the actual run itself, I don't really tend to want to.
I'll move across when it's good.
Make sure it's actually on Liquid, because we were getting like half sounds before.
Huh?
Make sure that you're mostly in the webcam, because we were barely getting any sounds before. It was like leaking out of frame a bunch.
Oh, well, I'm not commentating anyway, so.
That doesn't always happen. So, again, I want to really do just skip the run slash.
That's okay. Yeah,
While
we
in
go.
super mode, I'll pretty much
Alright. So just count down whenever? Whenever ready to go?
Might just have to.
I probably won't do any commentary. Yeah, I will, of course.
Let me just tweet this out. Fuck, I did the wrong channel.
Good work.
Whatever.
Alright. Whenever ready? Alright. 3, 2...
Wait.
Oh.
Yeah,
Not yet.
now count.
Alright. 3, 2, 1, go.
Woo!
Alright, go ahead, man. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, so this is 2FM, Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, Critical any percent. Critical mode is the highest difficulty for Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. And this is the Final Mix version only released for the PS2 in Japan. You guys may have seen 2.5 has the Final Mix version. Reason we're not playing on that is because this version has a lot quicker loads due to it not being a Blu-ray disc. So that's also why the game's in Japanese. It's actually really interesting. The developers of this game actually put it with Japanese text but English voice actors. I guess they just liked us better.
Is it only the Blu-ray speeds that make it faster?
And it's like a 20 gig disc.
It's mainly faster just because, well, it's based off the PS2 Slim, so it makes the load just faster in general.
Yeah, the other thing with 2FM is that the game, as far as I'm aware, the game was optimized mainly for the Slim PS2s. So using an old fat PS2 will actually give you slower loads. So this is the first fight of the game. So a lot just happened that I'm missing. He picked up the strength struggle bat for that extra +1 strength. That actually makes a huge difference on every fight in early game. We'll be getting other various strength items later on that you'll see how much difference it makes. But basically, he did a specific set of combos on Cypher so that he could actually manipulate the RNG on this dusk. Because for some reason, a lot of things in this game actually manipulate the next thing in this game. So he will do an upside down walk and kill Liquid. Dying in this difficulty is faster and also manipulates the RNG for the best pattern on the next dusk as well.
Yeah, a lot of the first, 10 minutes of this game is just manipulating RNG to be in your favor. Just to go really fast.
So you'll notice cutscene skips are really fast in this game. It's actually crazy how much of a difference optimal cutscene skips can make. So, and I believe Liquid actually has visual and audio cues for every single cutscene skip in Roxas World. And they actually make a huge difference. That's why he has the best time. So right here, the game wants us to do some little mini games and collect money. The game wants us to get 1,500 or something ridiculous. We're not going to do that because we don't need to. We only need to complete one mini game. So we're going to do mail delivery because it's the fastest.
Yeah, you only need 50 money to be able to progress the game from here. You don't need 500 or whatever, which a lot of people did casually.
So, I mean, you could grind for the +2 AP, but it's really unnecessary, especially in critical mode, because in critical mode, the game starts you with 50 AP as opposed to the 1 that the other difficulties give you. The other cool benefits about critical mode to make up for its extremely high difficulty is that it gives you a bunch of abilities to begin the game with that we'll see coming up pretty soon.
Did you just want to let stream know who you are as well? Because you're not on.
Oh yeah, just to let you guys know, so this is LiquidWiFi, I'm Demidget2000. And yeah, we'll be your entertainment for the next 4 hours.
Enjoy.
That was a creepy face I just pulled.
Very chunky health boss.
So this is the next dusk. It gives us a pretty specific pattern because of the last dusk. It should also do the upside down walk, except it didn't. Oh, there it is. It's got a couple of weird patterns. Like sometimes it does it immediately, sometimes it dances around first. But the idea is we want the upside down walk because we can just hit it 10 times. Hitting it 10 times clears the stage because we don't have a corner that we can sit in to die through that fight.
Yeah, it just always ends up being faster in the like. I think it saves like just 5 or so seconds to just hit him.
So we'll just wait for this announcement.
Oh wow.
Nice fight. So now that that announcement's over, Liquid picked up the shield as opposed to the sword or the rod. In this game, as opposed to KH1, they don't actually determine stats or anything like that, but they do still determine your ability tree. So for critical mode, the shield ability tree is the best one mainly because it gives us the ability once more at level 25. Once more being you can survive at 1 HP from a long combo.
Again, I always have trouble telling because there's enemies instantly up there.
Despite how easy Liquid makes these strats look, it actually is insanely easy to die in critical mode. Most things 2-shot or 1-shot you. So a lot of the idea of this mode is just don't get hit.
Yeah, this might be a good time to mention that throughout this run, I have a bit of a challenge for myself. Pretty much, it's just if I die at all, every death that I have, I will donate $10 to Youth Beyond Blue. Youth Beyond Blue. If every potion that I throw on myself, I'll donate $1, and any cure that I use, I'll donate $5. So it could destroy my wallet very easily. But I'll be fine. Oh yeah, that sounds like a job.
Hit the thing.
Think.
There's a little parry there for some reason, a lingering hitbox. So this fight, Twilight Dawn, this is the first boss fight of the game. Pretty much there's a few reaction commands that the game forces you to do. And then we just got to hit his head a lot of times. Now, in critical mode, you actually do... Okay, so there's damage multipliers based on your difficulty. In beginner mode, it's 1.5 times. In standard mode, it's 1 times. And in critical mode, it's 1.25. So we don't do as much as beginner. But this fight can be almost as fast as beginner, only slower by about 10 seconds because of one of the abilities we got given for free, Reaction Boost, which actually makes all of our reaction commands do a lot more damage. Now Liquid's going to try and knock away these creepers. That forces them to stab down, and he can just run away. Perfect fight.
I was really worried about dying there. It loses so much time.
Yeah, if you die to that fight, it's actually really punishing because not only does it lose you a bunch of time because you have to go through all of the 4-star Cs, but the creepers have different patterns every time. It will always be the same the first time around, but if you die, the pattern changes.
So they literally say that. Don't forget to drop a nice save every now and then.
So yeah, just to go over the abilities we got at the start, other than Reaction Boost, we also got Lucky Luckies, which give us more chance at drops. We got Finishing Plus, which gives us a second finisher, which is a huge benefit. We also got Draw and... Yeah, I said Lucky Luckies.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Draw and... I think there's one I'm missing, but yeah. But yeah, a bunch of abilities, the main important ones being Reaction Boost and Finishing Plus, although Draw really does help here. So pretty much, this strat is basically hitting Haina into a corner. We pretty much know when he's going to retaliate because there's a mechanic in this game called Revenge Value. Every boss has a value which basically says when they're going to break out of whatever you're doing and retaliate. And pretty much all attacks that you do add a certain number to the revenge value. And once they hit it, they will retaliate. using this, we can actually know exactly when each boss is going to retaliate and react accordingly. Either react and punish their retaliation, or just get out of there so we don't get killed.
Yeah, revenge value is like a common theme with this game. You'll see us manipulate a lot, especially towards the end of the run.
You see it right here. After this hit, he's mashing guard because he knows VV is going to retaliate. Knock him out, collect all the orbs. That was a really good fight. That's a 40-49. Wow. Those were quite good struggles.
They drop a lot less frequently in wild and
Now, to give an idea of how much the extra +1 strength at the start of the game makes a difference, each of these dusks takes like an extra 2 or 3 hits or something ridiculous without that strength. It's actually quite crazy.
Yeah.
So, second boss of the game, Axel 1. Pretty much 6 full combos. He retaliates after 3. We want to force him to retaliate there, because if we just let him do his thing, he's going to DM or use his desperation move, where he goes invincible and does a lot of damage, and it wastes a lot of time. Alright, last struggle. We're going to fight Setzer. Now, most casual playthroughs, you'll find they beat Setzer, they get the champion's belt, get some defense resistances. That's great, woohoo. We're going to lose, because losing still progresses the game, but it also gives us the medal. So instead of those defensive things that do nothing, we're going to get an extra +1 strength accessory, and that makes a huge difference. Like, we take 13 seconds to die there. Winning would take about 30 or so.
45, I think, is the best.
35 is the best, apparently, and then and then you lose many minutes because you don't have that strength.
the enemies, for some reason, I don't know why, they can't find that glass door. See, they can break certain objects, but this bit of glass here, they refuse to break.
Okay, so now we just got to head to the station. We're going to check out the 7 Wonders. Just a bunch of little mini games and mini fights, which actually can make a big difference. Well, mainly VV. VV is the main important one.
It's the only one that really changes.
So a quick menu there to equip scan and equip the medal. And he also, what he did in the config was he turned off summon animations. So in 1.5, you remember every time we did a summon, there was an animation. In this game, we can just completely turn it off. If we leave it on auto, we'll randomly get like 15-second time losses because we watch animations. So this is ball wall. Pretty much get to the end, don't get hit.
I get dead zone.
This minigame is especially bad if your controller has dead zones.
Alright, yeah, no, I'm gonna legit question this game right now. How did that not kill the big guy?
So next minigame here, VV clones. Just a bunch of VVs that all have the same moveset, but they all die in one hit. This can be really random because they spawn wherever they feel like. That first one is always consistent, but this second one, or these rest of them, just pretty much spawn wherever they want. That was pretty decent. Any fight where you don't get bopped is good. But yeah, some patterns can actually make that fight, like the variance can be like 15 seconds even with not getting hit just based on bad spawns. It's pretty crazy. Much like 1.5, 2FM has a lot of small RNG elements, which over a long time can really start to add up.
Fortunately, though, a lot of them are in the first hour of the game, so after that, it's it starts to wear down quite a bit on RNG.
So this is Shadow Roxas. Pretty much it's more revenge value stuff. We know when he's going to retaliate, so we can act accordingly. Here's some cool movement here. Liquid's going to use the trolley that's coming. It always comes here to do some cool movement. Saves a couple of seconds.
Almost fell down.
I would have taken anything there, but they weren't feeling generous today.
So this next minigame, it's generally just press triangle, but we have to be very careful because the game can crash.
That's right.
For no reason, the reaction command can actually appear. It's either like a frame early or a frame late or something, and cause,
At any point in
and the bag can just go soft lock, pretty much. So it's always recommended that you don't mash this triangle for the entirety of this minigame, but instead just press it, like react accordingly as the reaction command appears.
in there.
Hey, so we didn't crash. Woo! First person's fun. So we pick up a potion there. You'll notice we pick up a few items that other categories like beginner wouldn't. Just because of the amount of damage we take, we actually really care about potions. Potions are very important for staying alive.
On the samurai swords, and there's about 3 of them. Yeah, I just get to doodle around until a new set comes out after.
So we're pretty much just moving to the final wonder here at the mansion, and then we're going to get into the final day of Roxas World. You may have noticed, but Roxas, he is very similar to Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora. He has pretty much the same moveset. He also has a tendency to shove concrete into his shoes, and he loves to hit the ground. That's why air combos with Roxas are quite bad. I believe you came up with the definition for that.
Concrete shoes.
Urban Dictionary / Roxas.
Not a good meme.
Okay. So this alley fight introduces us to the enemy, the assassin. This enemy does a lot of damage and goes underground so that we can't hit him. Luckily, we can hit him out of it before he does that. That was a really nice fight. The unfortunate thing about assassins is they can also explode and kill themselves, which causes you to lose out on really needed XP.
Yeah, the EXP route in this category is very tight.
Yeah, in critical mode, it's actually interesting. You earn 75% of the regular EXP, so you level a lot slower. And if you don't get all the necessary nobody kills, all the forced nobody kills, you actually don't hit level 3, which is a strength increase. And your next segment, the Yensid's Tower, will go a lot slower. Luckily, it doesn't matter for Axel 2.
Not wearing a shirt, I can't tell. It's kind of hard to make out his textures on him. Now that we're done, that's the final save point. I don't really need to use
Okay, so after a little bit of plot here, we're going into the final fights of Roxas World. There's a basement fight with a bunch of Dusks and some Assassins, and then Axel 2. I hope we get a BGM.
Oh, that would be great.
See, this game, actually, for some reason, the background music tends to glitch out a lot. We don't know why, but it sounds really cool. So hopefully, Axel BGMs are my favorite, so I hope we get one. Duskson really trolling this fight. They like to just jump around, and they have really low hitboxes when they slide along the ground like that. Pretty much you run into the same problem as with 1.5. Nice. So, next fight with Axel, we do very specific combos in order to force his revenge value. Unfortunately, no background music glitch. But yeah, we get 2 Keyblades, which is really cool. We do a lot of damage with them. Unfortunately, can't guard, so we really need to make sure you stun him off the first attack. Otherwise, it can be very difficult to save this fight. Now, watch your reaction boost. That did a lot of damage. So, in beginner mode, that reaction command does not do that much damage. It's actually quite crazy how much of a difference having that reaction boost actually makes.
Now see, the third move he gets right here is that little hurricane punch. And that sends you to just the other side of the room where it hits you. So if you have to be at a window, good luck. Because you're going to go flying. And you will be dead. So yeah, you can imagine what fighting him is like on the hardest difficulty, where all they do is buff the enemy damage a little bit.
Okay, so first menu of the game. What Liquid's doing right here, he's actually changing the actions of his party members. In Kingdom Hearts 1, your party members cannot actually change their actions to this degree. What he just did was put them on party attack. And what party attack does is they will not attack the same target as Sora. If Sora's locked onto something, they'll find something else to do. And it's very necessary for the upcoming fight, as we just want to die, and we don't want to stop the Dusks from doing that. He also took their items because they're not very good at using them. We're a lot better at that.
It's not really what I want to do, but
It's actually, because of how easily your party members die, it's really just a waste if your party members start using items on each other. But now we have Sora, the good character. His moveset has changed up a bit, and he is a lot more competent at air combos and fighting in general. So we hit that Dust to force retaliation. Ideally, we want this upside down walk, and that kills us straight away. That was really quick. So you'll actually be seeing a lot of this in critical mode. Dying actually will still progress the story in a fair number of fights, and in critical mode, it's just quicker. Even in beginner mode, some fights are quicker to die to in that case. But for critical mode, we just die to all of them.
I think I caught the number.
Well, except 2.
I think it, yeah, it's in so.
There's 2 that we actually do fight just because we need the experience. Mainly this one right here and the one before the Bailey fight. Every other one we just die. So now Liquid's going to move backwards here because he wants to draw... Okay, or not. The old strat used to be to move backwards to draw all the Heartless towards you. But they seem to have done a pretty good job of coming at him anyway. So that was still a really quick fight. Whoops.
Lauren Hickman. Lauren Hickman. Can you please go to the Yummy Suka artist stand, number 36? This is a call for Lauren Hickman to go to the Yummy Suka artist stand.
Maybe we should ask them to pick us up some food. Never mind. Just memeing. So in all these fights in the tower, while we don't have too much to work with, most of what you'll see is air combos. Mainly because ground combos are a lot slower in execution. Also, they have a lot more recovery frames to the finisher. So we do air combos. The difficult thing about this is that Shadow's another enemy with a really low hitbox, so they can be difficult to hit sometimes. But in general, they're just a pain because they go underground. In this next fight, you'll actually be seeing Liquid manipulate something called flinch count. So some bosses and some regular enemies in this game have a counter called flinch count. After a certain number of flinches, they'll do a certain retaliation. What was meant to happen there was he was meant to get a cyclone, a reaction command, after 3 flinches, but unfortunately Goofy kind of messed it up. You'll see it here though. That's... That's another reason why we actually put the party members to party attack as well, because we don't want them messing with the enemies we're attacking like that.
Alright, so we all good? We're all good then. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Alright, welcome to Natuto. Flash Ninja Revolution. Yeah.
Good luck on Natuto.
It's now its official name. I'm not going to change it at all. But yeah, we're playing through the mission mode. If you've watched Natuto before,
Hey, so we've now had a change of clothes. This wardrobe was much cooler. We also got our first drive form. So in this game, Sora can sacrifice characters like Goofy and other party members to change his clothes into different colors. He also gets stronger. So we have various forms that change up Sora's moveset, as well as give him particular abilities or boosts in either strength or magic, as well as in 3 out of the 5 cases giving him a second Keyblade. These are used a lot throughout the run. We'll be seeing one used right now for not just fights, but also for movement. Valor Form in itself, Sora just runs faster, so we use it to move places. So in Hollow Bastion right now, some of these fights can sometimes be a little random. We have the security system going, and what that likes to do is just knock up dusks and do no damage. So sometimes that can really mess up your fights, making your combos with, but that was actually a really fast fight. Donald and the security system actually helped out.
You can also die there, and if you die there, depending on how early you die, it's usually the samurai, but you can lose like 40 experience on that fight alone just from accidentally dying.
this is complete art. There is nothing I can do to speed this up a little bit faster. And I've looked into this a little bit.
So next fight is notoriously bad in terms of RNG. It's the Bailey fight. Now, the problem why it's bad is because we have Leon, and we don't like Leon. He's a little silly. But first of all, we're going to grab the drive recovery here. This is safety in case a strat messes up, which is actually really easy to happen. Gives us 3 drive back, as opposed to original KH2, which only gave you 1. But yeah, we have Leon here. He staggers enemies when we don't want him to. He pushes them into a corner where we don't want him to. And he does no damage.
Probably my least favorite fight in the game by a lot.
The unfortunate thing about this fight is that Leon's actions can actually kill you. It is very common to die on this fight. So Liquid's just trying to stay in a particular spot here so he can get right next to these samurais, prevent Leon from messing them up as much as possible. what was really lucky there before was that Leon didn't actually use a fireball, because we want him to be as far away from the samurais when they spawn as possible. It's best to get rid of this samurai now, because later on it could just teleport into you and take out most of your health. A cool thing about Blizzard in this game that's actually changed from KH1 is instead of having a large spread, it's a single projectile, but it actually goes through enemies. So with them all grouped up in a line like that, we can just hit multiple enemies with each Blizzard. It does a lot of damage really quick.
Staying on the ground and not dazed or whatever. I use up like 25% of my chakra bar at the bottom there.
I am so glad Chip and Dale talk for less time in this version. So annoying. So now we're going into our first gummy mission, and unlike KH1, we can't speed these up. These are auto-scrollers. We just have to sit here for a few minutes and not die.
Yeah, so this is a good time for donations if you have any.
We don't have any at the moment.
All good? Make sure you donate.
Yeah, reminder to donate, guys. It's a great cause. It's epic to raise this much money. I think we can actually really hit an amazing total. And I believe there's still some incentives as well that need to be hit. Like, if you want to see that cool stuff, you donate. It's not that much, and it really helps out. It goes a long way.
Would you like me to read out the donation incentives now?
Yeah, you can read through.
Okay, so we still have a donation incentive for Super Metroid coming up to kill or save the animals, I believe. And Vex has a glitch showcase at the end of the run, and we're currently only $0 of $50 into that. And Vex also has another donation incentives of the hop and drop minigame at the start of the run, and that is 0 of $30. So if you'd like to see those donation incentives, guys, make sure you get your donations in. You can donate on site too if you're down here at Avcon. So, and all donations are supporting Beyond Blue, so make sure you support a great cause. Thanks.
One thing to mention in these gummy missions is that if you get too high of a score or you get too much medals, you actually lose a screen transition of time. It's like about 5 or 6 seconds. It's just, that's why I'm not shooting anything. It's basically just wasting a lot of time for no real reason.
Yeah, the game gives you rewards based on your performance, but we don't want them. The rewards are slow.
Everything else is pretty much the same. I do it all the same.
Alright, so that's the first gummy. Now we're going into the first Disney World of the game, Land of Dragons, or Mulan.
You actually know the name. I completely forgot. We are in a co-op that plays that.
Alright, so more of taking Mulan's items, and we also put Donald's cure back on. We actually took that off earlier, I forgot to mention, because he would have healed us when we were trying to die earlier.
So towards the end of the first mission, I'm going to want to be able to have Valor level 2 because if I don't get that, I won't have enough drive to make it to the cave fight after all the missions, so it's really important that I get that here.
Valor form levels up based on the number of hits on Heartless you do. So he wants to try and get a lot of hits in. He particularly doesn't want Mulan to mess with this fight. But he got level 2, so that's really good. So his form will have an extra drive bar of time. Announcement.
Yeah, that was a good example of how tough crit is. I only took 3 hits and I was a critical health, so it's really easy to die.
So this is where we start using fire for the first time. Now what fire does, instead of being a single projectile like in KH1, they've changed it to a ring around Sora, but it also hits over multiple frames, which makes it perfect for killing shadows. As shadows are coming out of the ground, you only have a certain amount of frames before they may go underground again or do stuff, so being able to hit over multiple frames really covers you to be able to catch them out. The unfortunate thing about shadows is, I'll wait. So shadows can actually go underground for a total of 0 frames in this. It's actually really annoying. Now, these Assault Riders, these big dudes, they are really scary. They do a lot of damage. But with some very specific comboing, we can actually deal with them, keep them stun locked. There's a cool little optimization right here that he's going to be going for on this third one. It's a little snipe. You can actually snipe this first shadow with Blizzard even though he's so far away. Cool. Other than that, this fight is pretty random based on shadows. Now, towards the end of this mission, Liquid's also going to try and go Valor form to end the fight. The explosion from going into a form actually deals damage and will ideally kill the final enemy because the game will load the drive form while fading out from the mission. Nice. So yeah, the game would have taken that long anyway, but if we can get it to load there, we save about 2 seconds or so that we would have had to use to go into the form afterwards. Oh. Alright, so a cool strat here that Liquid's trying to go for. Another example of flinch count, he flinches the soldier a particular number of times to force a cyclone, and he's able to use that to kill all the enemies. You really do need to clear out all the enemies here or have them far enough away so that they won't hit you, because taking out these rocks takes a really long time and you can be easily interrupted. That was a good mountain climb. So now we're moving on fight to fight. Next one is cave fight. A lot of shadows and a few assault riders. Now this is actually a really scary fight because normally a couple of shadows wouldn't be a problem, but there is way too many shadows in this fight and they can just stun lock you until you are dead. Fire is definitely our best friend here.
Yeah, they 3-shot you. It's really scary.
So what he's gonna do, first kill the Assault Rider using his particular combos, but then he's gonna run straight up against a wall. He wants all the shadows to just group right up against him. He doesn't want to give them room to move, and he's just gonna use fire to clear out as many at once as he can. Nice, it was very fast. There are only a couple of particular attacks that you can punish with Assault Riders, so you have to really learn the enemy's patterns, even on just regular Heartless, in order to be able to deal with them. So now we'll see more Valor for movement. The cool thing about this, moving into the next fight, is that every time there's a party change, if you are in a form, it takes you out of the form, but also gives you back the drive bars that you used to go into it. So this next fight's going to kick away his party members, but it's going to refund his drive.
Please stop watching this stream for a little bit so I'm not as embarrassed. Like, we got Kingdom Hearts 2 just to the left of me, and what is it? What's speedrun 2? What's a better speedrun over there?
Thank you for the shout out, Damo. So this is a timed fight. We can't speed this up in any way, but what we really want to do is get a lot of experience, because we need level 10 before Shan Yu. Otherwise, you start losing time, because level 10 is a strength increase. The other thing you want from here is money. We really want to save up some money to buy ethers later on, because the game doesn't just give us enough. We will have to buy some. What we ideally want in this fight is to keep getting that reaction command just then. One potion. So this is actually really good right now. He's got all the bolt towers in a corner. He's got the speed trap RC. He's able to hit a lot of things at once. That was really good experience. Now, he wants to be under 120 from the next level to guarantee that he'll get level 10 before Shan Yu. So what he did in that menu was, he changed Mulan to party attack, which I explained earlier, makes her attack other stuff. There are Heartless in the Shan Yu fight. We want her to kill those, because otherwise they will destroy the gate, because not only do we have to kill Shan Yu, we have to worry about the gate's health. The other thing he did was unequip Auto Limit and equip Fire Boost. Auto Limit is just, it gets in the way, it's just Mulan's limit on your triangle button, and we really don't want to use that. The other thing, Fire Boost increases the limit's damage, because we will be using the limit, we just don't want to use it whenever we press triangle. Oh, here's some cool movement, by the way. So with Mulan's limit, you can do this.
You turn into Superman.
Let's do this together.
It's someone who's actually an expert at this game that's not...
Okay, so we just flew.
Give me a hand. Alright, can we get him over here? Can he help me?
So we've got another quick menu here. We're equipping, what we bought at the shop was a fire bangle. So that gives us fire resistance and some defense. Fire resistance is going to be particularly useful on the next world during the Hades fight, because he uses fire-based attacks. We also use the tent right now to get our MP back from using that limit. Taking the time to actually buy that tent is definitely worth the time you lose using it, because of how much time it saves to fly down the mountain. The cool thing about this force fight is Mulan's limit with Fire Boost pretty much always just kills it. You just mash triangle.
If I could live that like all the time, exactly how I wanted to. Let's go.
Oh yeah. second finisher on Shan Yu when he goes purple.
Yeah.
Good thing I was so far underestimated with Lenora and no one else too. Hey. I actually have to end this with the Rosetta.
So, what he wants to do in this fight, he wants to lure Shan Yu to a corner, because if we were just run straight at him and use the RC, Shan Yu will make his RC again by the time we get to him, and we don't want to do that because it's slow. So he's at an HP barrier here where he won't take any extra damage until he turns purple like that. Nice fight. I don't know if you guys caught that, but the bird actually swung down and nearly hit Liquid there. That bird on critical mode is the biggest pain. He does a lot of damage, I think a third of your health, and he can really just interrupt your combos and get Shan Yu out. So, one thing I want to also mention is that the reason we did the RCs in Valor form is the extra Keyblade gives you more strength, and that increases the damage of the RC. Pretty much all of the RCs in this game are based off your strength. But now we've got another gummy mission, so if we got any donations to read, we can go on those.
Alright guys, we actually have quite a few donations to read out at the moment, so that's good. We have $21 from Dutch Potato, who says, no donations, need to change that real quick. Also, good luck on the run, Liquid. I know you'll do great.
Thank you.
And we got somebody else called Hard, who says, I'm here for the world record run, parenthesis. And then straight after, he gives another $10.50 and says, I see I've come to the wrong place, OPOP.
Thank you all so much for your donations, guys.
We have $10.50 from Zinoga. Hey all, Zino here. Here's that $10 I promised during Midget's LR run. I'll donate another $10 if Liquid's run is deathless. Put it towards kill the animals. So no pressure, Liquid. Just gotta make it deathless.
Thank you, Zenoga.
And Angel says, gives $6.30 and says, this run should be a co-op speed run. Let the Midget do some worlds and Liquid commentate. And our last donation we have is from Donnie, who's $10.50 and says, Liquid is love, Liquid is life.
Thank you all for the donations. Keep donating.
Just a comment on about that co-op run. I am slow.
So this gummy mission is actually one of the scariest ones in the game because these cannons just demolish your health. They do about half or a third of your damage per hit, so I want to take them all out just for safety. Like even these guys right here just will annihilate your health. Something to point out as well is that on compared to KH2 English, the US release, you actually take twice as much damage from gummy missions than you do in 2FM than you do in KH2 English, so it's way more likely to die in this version.
Also, your difficulty setting actually doesn't affect how much damage you take in this game. So the next world we're going to be going into soon is Olympus Coliseum. Probably the worst world, according to every KH2 speedrunner on any version, any difficulty. This is the worst world. It is filled with RNG, and especially on critical mode, you can die very easily. If you've ever checked out Liquid's stream, he has some very colorful split names to describe this world.
Not appropriate for ASM, sorry.
just so you guys in the chat know, Liquid can see, and he's appreciating all of your good luck.
Something we actually didn't touch on before is what RNG is. It's basically any type of event or any AI that is not within your control in the game. So a shadow going underground, if it wants to or not, you can't manipulate that. It's completely out of your control. So it stands for random number generator as well.
Amazing mental health charity.
So many bananas, dude.
We've already raised over $2,200,
Oh my god. I don't ever put on face cam, so they don't know what I look like.
Liquid exposed. Want to chuck in a quick comment. I hope you guys finally know the difference between me and Saiyans. So we're heading to Hades at the moment. There's a couple of little speed tech things we can use along the way, mainly damage boosting from these Lancer dudes. Unfortunately, they do 60 or so, or 70% of your health, so we actually can't do more than one. So we'll do the most optimal one just before we hit the door.
Feel free to explain Hades' scheme.
Alright. So that's some other cool speed tech we use along the way here. Sliding into an enemy with sliding dash actually gives you propels you forward rather than running. Oh wait. Okay, so right there, the first part of Hades, he's invincible because it's his underworld. He's the god. So he's just a hit counter to end the fight there. Now we're going to Hades Escape. So there's 3 platforms, each force you to kill a particular number of Heartless before you can move on. The thing is, Hades is there. He throws fireballs, he hits you, he's invincible, and he's a big pain. So the idea here is to try and use reaction commands to really clear through these waves while avoiding Hades' fireballs.
Yeah, I get 2-shot in this fight, so it's super easy to die.
Yeah. Luckily, because he has the fire bangle, he can take 3 fireballs, but a fireball plus a Lancer hit or a large body hit is actually just death. So here he actually forces the Lancers to do their reaction command, and he got a really nice platform 2 there. Has to throw a potion because it is way too dangerous to be left at anything other than full health. So the hook bat, thanks to reaction boost, the hook bat's reaction command actually does an insane amount of damage. So ideally you want to just use that entirely for all your damage.
Wow.
That was a really good Hades escape. So yeah, that's one of the biggest death points in the run. That's one of the most likely places to die. So now we're heading up to Cerberus. We're gonna take the left path here. We could take right path and get an extra ether, but that's not worth it. We want to save 11 seconds. So this was recently implemented into critical mode. It was first routed into KH2 English, the US release, But we've now realized, hey, we have enough ethers, so we don't go there in crit. So Cerberus is the second boss of this world. Pretty easy fight, not that bad to die to. Hopefully Liquid can do it here. You can see how much... Oh! That's a death. Or is it? Okay, so... we actually always die there. The mechanic of this game to give you Mickey Mouse is actually guaranteed on the first fight you die to that would give you Mickey. And Sora just doesn't do damage to Cerberus, and you will die just very easily. But for some reason, Mickey's Pearls do an insane amount of damage to Cerberus, so we abuse that here. So you can see just how much damage this does. It's insane. Now, hopefully Cerberus jumps towards us here. No, he's doing fireballs. These fireballs two-shot you. They are very scary. Ideally, we want him to just jump towards us so we can blizzard him.
Go on.
Okay, there we go. Scary fight. Yeah. We don't actually consider anything a death unless it goes to the continue screen. So technically this is still deathless. Zenogre's $10 is still on the table.
So now we've got a bit of a break from all the stress and near-death experiences. We're just going to hit a bunch of urns and be on our way. Sort of just like a mini-game.
The problem with these things is that if they travel really low to the ground, you can whiff some hits because of their low hitbox. Also, they move randomly, so they can just spread apart. But ideally, you want to hit all of them with like the one finisher. Luckily, in critical mode, because we have the draw ability, we actually can pick up these the little medals that they drop a lot easier. It actually saves quite a lot of time over beginner mode. So those are always set, those first urns. In the second urns minigame, however, we have the initial wave is set. All other spawns are random. They come at particular times, or generally around particular times, but their movements and spawns are generally random for position. Another thing that really helps with this is having the finishing plus from critical mode. The urns can only be killed with finishes, so having that is really beneficial. So this big urn, if you knock that into small urns, it turns every little medal into a big medal worth 10. Luckily though in critical mode, because we have draw and finishing plus, we can actually collect 70 generally before it spawns, and then just use the big urn on its own to get us to the 100. Liquid, would you say this is to earn?
No, not at all.
So this chest is a power boost. Only one in the chest in the game, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
It actually is going to help a lot. Like I said earlier with the metal and the struggle bat, +1 strength goes a long way. It should also be noted that in the final mix version of this game, every strength up and magic up gives you +2 as opposed to the +1 from KH2 English.
Please make your way to the desk at the main exit point. Thank you.
I hope Donald gets nailed here.
Oh, that was me.
Ugh. Hey. Donald pretty much dies 90% of the time there. Makes me giggle inside. Okay, so the next fight coming up is another mini-game kind of fight. This is Demix. He wants you to kill 100 water clones in a minute and 20?
Yeah.
No, yeah, something like
Thanks.
No, 100... Minute and 20. Yeah. So, these guys can...
Yeah, unfortunately these water coins just go whatever direction they want. They tend to go towards where you're targeting, but sometimes they'll just go the opposite direction for no real reason.
These announcements are coming through at the best times.
It's not too bad. Yeah, the average of that fight is about 40 seconds, so 42
was a good
is
fight.
pretty good. Alright, so this is probably the next scariest fight in the game behind Hades' Escape. This, in this, not so much the first phase, but the second phase, I can get put down to 1 HP with just 1 attack. It's very scary.
Yeah. The problem with this fight is not so much Pete himself, but the other Heartless that are in the fight with him. The ghosts actually do 90% of your HP. This first part of the fight, though, is timed. We can't actually speed it up at all. It's pretty much just a minute and a half of us surviving and getting as much XP off these Heartless as we can. We try to focus on picking up as much money as well, because the more ethers, the better. So now, in the second phase of this fight, there's 2 things Pete can do at the beginning. He can either pinball, which is where he turns himself invincible, or he can just, like, stand there. We want him to stand there because pinballing just wastes time and puts him in a really bad position for us to get the back cry, although we do have backups. By stunning the bats with the drive explosion there, we can actually force an RC, and then we can just combo Pete until he's dead. That was a good fight. Luckily, Hercules didn't mess with that fight. Most of the time, Hercules punching Pete can actually lead to him pinballing. And as well as going invincible, he also heals while pinballing, so it's definitely not the ideal situation.
Yeah, my goal for this run was just to get out of this world without a death, and it looks like we're going to do that, but got one more fight.
So this is the last fight in OC. Definitely like the most boss fights in one world except for the final world. This is Hydra. Hydra is incredibly scary if we don't kill him with the strat. We use Trinity Limit, but sometimes Trinity Limit's damage can be a bit random in the second and third phases. The damage the finisher here does is dependent on how many hits you get in the initial 3 parts. Hey, Phil. So after clearing all these heads, Hydra will spawn with his full 9 heads, and we want to Trinity Limit again, and ideally that will take him down to a bit under a bar of health. The next part of this fight, he gives us a random head pattern where his heads duck down, but in one of a few different ways. some are much worse than others in terms of actually being able to hit his head, and in terms of actually surviving, because there are dark balls here that can just mess you up. See, this is a bad head pattern. The head's all the way over and actually quite high in the air. Cool thing is, you can get caught on his neck there and just combo him for free without having to worry about where the head goes. So this should definitely kill. .104 OC, that's not bad. So before we get into the next gummy, we've got a little thing here where we're going to be pulled back to Hollow Bastion, and we're going to be introduced to Winnie the Pooh. We're also going to get our first summon of the game, Chicken Little.
Hey, wait a minute.
And we're going to cop another death.
Just to let you know that the exhibition area and artist alley is now closed. I repeat, the exhibition and artist alley is now closed. Thank you.
So right there, Liquid equipped the Keyblade that we got from Olympus Coliseum, the Hero's Crest. It has 4 strength and 1 magic, and it has the ability Air Combo Boost. So all of our air combo finishes have boosted damage based on the number of air hits we do. This is going to be our main Keyblade up until about 2 hours into the run.
If anyone was watching the ad, it's very full, and normally I can't actually stream for longer than about 2 hours without absolutely crashing, so it's definitely another stream 5 hours.
Alright, here we could do this fight, but we don't need the EXP, and it's faster to just die. So we just force the flinch count, get a Cyclone, and die.
Yeah, right after this world, after the next Yummy mission, is where the run really starts to pick up and get a lot more interesting, because we have a lot more tech to work with, and just it becomes like visually cool to look at after this world.
Yeah, the issue with the start of the game is that you really don't have many tools to work with, but as the game progresses, you get a lot more tools, and it is really, really impressive, the things you can do.
Yeah, endgame especially is just really, really nice to watch.
So we've got another gummy mission here now, so if we've got any more donations, we can go ahead and read those.
I believe we have one. I'll just refresh just to make sure. So we have first person Chusora, who gave $1.05. He says, "You better PB even though you're behind." And I'll just take this time to just mention the donation incentives again. So for Station 2, we still have upcoming Super Metroid Kill or Save the Animals, which is a bid war. So you can actually vote to kill the animals or save the animals. And I believe from our last set of donations, we've actually transferred from saving them to killing them. So if you guys want to save the fluffy, cute little animals, better get some donations in. And upcoming...
Kill the animals.
Yeah.
Save the frames.
And we still have no progress towards our Vex donation incentives, which is the Glitch Showcase and Hop and Drop minigame, which I believe that run will be on tomorrow.
The other one. Yours is already met. Oh, okay. Yours
So yeah, donations go towards Beyond Blue guys, so they go to a good cause, so if you're going to put them towards donation incentives, just get them in.
Cool. So, one thing to mention about this gummy mission, it's free. You can walk away, do whatever you want for a minute and a half, and you won't be dead. There's only a couple of missions like this. We only have 2 of them in the run. We use them as bathroom breaks generally, because this is a very long run. Unfortunately, it's one right after the other. keep those donations rolling in, guys. And if we have any more, we still have some time in this gummy mission.
Alright, we have another donation that just came in, guys, from Sephiroth. He says, Liquid, please say Sephi is best mod so my mama can be proud of me.
No.
I'm sorry about that. And he gave $15.75.
Sephi will always be a good mod in my heart. Though I will never mod him.
And I just double checked, guys, those donation incentives that I mentioned before will be on tomorrow, about 12 p.m. Australian time.
Quick reminder, the donation incentive for the Out of Bounds glitch showcase for this game has actually been met. So after this run, remember to stick around. You'll see some really cool stuff.
You actually get to put the donation, the last one, towards something, Liquid. So what would you like to put that towards?
Don't know if I got that.
What would you like it to go towards?
Put it towards killing the animals. Yeah.
Alright, Liquid's put it towards killing the animals, guys.
So that little force fight just there is based off a hit counter. The fight ends after you do so many hits. So we do fires because it covers a lot of shadows. And the drive explosion to put us into Valor form saves a few seconds rather than just standing there and waiting for it. Similar to how we went into Valor form at the end of the third mission in Land of Dragons. We also, from the shop, bought Sardonyx Ring. In the next world after this one, we get an extra accessory slot. So we're going to be putting that Sardonyx Ring in there for an extra strength. No, you'll get 4. So all this magic you see him using is special RNG manipulation. It's so he can have a good run.
Oh god, I almost smashed triangle there.
Just kidding, it's probably going to kill him. So the next boss fight just here is Thresholder. There is a Possessor in the wall, and we are going to use Chicken Little and some air combos to keep him out. The reason we use Chicken Little is because if there are multiple enemies far away from us, he whistles, and that brings the enemies towards us and stuns them. That gives us enough time to hit Thresholder while the gargoyles are stunned in order to pop him out of the wall. Makes this fight a lot safer. So close. I think you should be good.
Fine. Never usually not fine.
Yeah, so the good thing about this one.
After that Land of Dragons, you should be fine.
I didn't kill both the Trick Ghosts there. Didn't beat, so it might be a bit low.
But if this is one
So we've got a little mini game just here. We just have to light some lanterns, and then we're going to head on to Beast Room. This is another cool thing where it takes away your party members, but because we had Chicken Little out, it gives us back our drive, so we can use Valor Form after this.
Nice, Dead Zone.
One thing I want to mention about drive forms, actually, there is a counter in this game called anti-points. A lot of people think anti-form's random, but we've actually discovered that there is a counter. After 5 uses of drive forms, you have a chance. I believe it starts at 25% or 20%? 20%. So 20% chance to go anti-form after each use. Now there are things that increase your chance or can also reduce your counter as well. Say, for example, if you're in a an organization member fight, your chance is times 10. Other fights, there's some times 5s, I think. And the other thing is you can actually reduce your anti-points. Getting a new form resets it back to 0, and going final form reduces it by 10. Or is it 5? 10. Getting anti-form itself reduces it by 5.
Another thing is if you have a third party member like Hercules in the Pete fight, you actually don't have a chance of getting anti-form. It makes the counter 0, or times 0, sorry.
So, because we know about this counter, we've actually routed it in such a way that we know exactly when we would get anti-form. So we only use drive forms when we know we can't get it. There are certain situations where our anti-points are high enough, but there are certain conditions that need to be met, such as you need to be in combat, both your party members need to be alive. Sora needs to actually have party members as well. So we do a quick world map warp here. Pretty much, it's a lot faster than running back, and a lot safer as well. There's some dangerous enemies on the way. So now this next boss coming up has 2 parts, Shadowstalker and then Darkthorn. Shadowstalker is a funny fight. It possesses different things around the room, and if you do not do the strat correctly, you will have a hard time killing him. What Liquid's going to try to go for here is a strat called Windowless. So we're going to get him before he goes into the window. And the way we do that is we start by moving backwards. If you move forwards, he'll go straight to the window. If you move backwards here, he'll actually go underground. Easy every time. This next fight is actually quite scary though. So he's a bit funny, and sometimes you can be stunning him using the strat, but sometimes he can just break out, and he kills you in 3 shots, and is very difficult to control. So we do a lot of damage using Valor Form, and then what we're going to do is we're going to use Beast Limit in order to stun him out of his moves here. Using Upper Slash allows us to knock him up into the air, and then we can just air combo him. Because now that we have air combo boost, and air combos are still faster, they are going to be our biggest source of damage.
Yeah, another thing to mention, if I die in that second fight, I have to go back and fight Shadowstalker again, which is a big time loss, so I really don't want that to happen.
Oh, really?
It's like 20 seconds behind, and I have like 30 seconds the next fights.
Your attention, please.
Do it.
Scott Wyatt
35.
at the reception between Artist Alley and Esports. That's Scott Wyatt to Artist Alley and Esports at reception. Thank you.
Okay, so this world doesn't have a gummy, but we go straight into it. Disney Castle. This is a very short world, but it links to another world, Timeless River, which is a bad world. some of the fights in Timeless River have a bit of bad RNG, but hopefully we can avoid that.
Yeah, I'm also going to be grinding for some experience here. I need to make sure I hit level 14 before I get to Boat Pete, otherwise I lose an automatic 15 seconds.
Ideally what he wants to aim for is 520 to the next level, or to level 13. He may not be level 12 yet.
Let's go. This way. Let's go.
So these are escorts. Pretty much you just have to get Minnie to the goal. But if the Heartless hit her, she slows down a lot.
This way.
Pretty much we want to try and just make sure none of the Heartless hit her by timing our Faiths, or Holy, at very specific times to just knock away the Heartless.
The Mario Kart 8 finals begin in 15 minutes at 7. Thank you.
This way. Let's go. This way.
So this room can actually be very scary if you misread how far Minnie can go or how far you can go. These guys can actually two-shot you, so you have to be very careful and really know your distances.
This way. Let's go. This way. Let's go.
Okay, so we just need to kill one more and then he'll have the right XP.
This way. Let's go.
There are a couple of points in this game where we actually do need to grind a bit of XP. Mainly being Land of Dragons, this bit here, and later on Space Paranoids.
This way. Let's go.
I think the chat heard you when you said it. A couple of them are saying it. So just in that menu before, he saw him finally equip the Sardonyx ring. We got that accessory slot. Now we're moving into Timeless River. There's just bananas everywhere.
Get out of the way.
Give me strength.
So this is old Pete. We don't like this Pete almost as much as we don't like the other Pete. He's a pain. The main reason we don't like him is because in the later Pete fight, he becomes a quote-unquote party member, but he's more detrimental than helpful.
He's like Leon.
Much like Leon. Only thing is, Leon can actually die. Unfortunately, Pete can't.
I'm gonna need to unplug my controller at some point.
Dead zone.
That'll fix it when I do that.
Alright, so these are windows. These things are really scary, but you'll be seeing a lot of Chicken Little here. Chicken Little is very useful in controlling these enemies. So, normally those hammers actually two-shot you. It's a very scary fight. And The idea here is you want to use the RCs to really just clear through these enemies quickly. Unfortunately, we got a little bit of bad luck here. I think Chicken Little just messed with some of the minute bombs. So the great thing about these windows is that every time it spits you out, you get a... it takes away your party members again, so your MP is refilled and you get to use Chicken Little again. Not MP, Drive. This is 1.5. So this third window introduces us to a lovely enemy type that we hate. That's cars. Cars, when they reach a certain HP, they turn invincible and get really aggressive. And the thing is, they do a lot of damage. So we actually really need to rely on Chicken Little to do a lot of the work. Because as long as Chicken Little's stunning them like this, they won't go invincible. Okay, Chicken Little being a bit of a pain there and aerial dive whiffing, but he saved it. I actually really enjoy the strat for this last window. We can't use Chicken Little in this last window because it gives us party members afterwards, and we need Valor Form, but the strat's pretty cool. So we deliberately miss as many things as possible with that Trinity because the finisher of the Trinity will always kill them. So we want to get as little hits as possible and so we can get to the finisher quicker. I love how it makes your footprints.
Did not notice that before.
You bugs couldn't follow me if you wanted to.
So the reason we want to be in Valor Form for this is, once again, the second Keyblade strength is added to our strength value, and it makes these RCs and your damage on the boat do a lot of damage. Now, you'll see him actually run out of drive bars for Valor, but while he's holding onto this thing, he actually can't revert, so he keeps the strength the whole time. This hook here actually randomly decides when it wants to finish. So sometimes you can get 3, maybe 4 cycles, or you can get a good fight like that one just there and get 2. So this is Pete, again. The way this fight works is Pete takes you at certain HP barriers to other locations. Basically the windows you just went through. The main annoying thing about this fight is we actually have Old Pete throughout this fight, and if he gets hit by one of regular Pete's attacks, he can actually run around the room and interrupt your combos as well as damage you. Particularly in this room. This is, in my opinion, the scariest room. Although Liquid got the best pattern. For the purposes of switching scenes, Pete has to be hit with a finisher to break the HP barrier. Luckily for us, upper slash actually counts as a finisher for the purposes of that. All bosses in this game can only be killed with a finisher or magic. Nice fight. Yeah. Okay, so we've got the second free gummy mission of the run, the Port Royal Gummy. This is another gummy where you can just sit there for a minute and a half and you won't die.
Anyway, so we throw the bomb. We're gonna blow the bomb up. That's gonna get all the secret services out of the room. It's fine. That dude might have gone, but who the hell was that? And I didn't want to do it. Anyway, we went to this bomb. Now, the second target, despite all his guards running away, he didn't run away. So we're gonna blow his brains. Oh, crap. Brian, please shoot the lock. I can't pick the lock, but I'll see you.
So if you have any more donations, feel free to read them out.
There are still seats available with game up to in the main hall. Thank you.
We don't have any more donations at the moment, but I will take this time to explain that all the donations we're receiving are going towards Beyond Blue. It's a great organization, and there's a bunch of donation incentives for it, so they're all down in the description below our Twitch channel. So if you want to know anything about the stream, donation incentives, what's coming up next, anything, just feel free to check below, and you can ask in chat any questions you have, because I'll be typing there with the Australian Speedrun Marathon 2 name, so feel free to ask.
Donate. So yeah, luckily we've only got this going mission and 3 more for the rest of the game. The last one's not for like another 2 hours almost, so almost done with the most boring parts of the run.
They can't make us leave. We will continue to run. Roxy just donated 20 bucks.
Come and enjoy dinner with our lovely maids and butlers in the maid cafe. We're open
Okay, so this is Port Royal. In this world, we have pirates, and these pirates are only exposed during the full moon. Magic does a lot of damage to these guys. The game kinda tells you in a cutscene, but we're skipping the cutscene, so it's a good thing we already know. Magic does random effects to these guys. Blizzard freezes them on the spot. Thunder sort of makes them walk around slowly, and fire makes them run around quickly. We want Blizzard. We like Blizzard the best because freezing them in place, we can line them up, we can take them down, we can also hit multiple in one hit.
Oddly enough, actually, the pirates are very resistant to reflex, so it doesn't do that much damage. It's one of the few enemies in this game that are resistant to reflex and light damage.
So throughout Port Royal, we're going to be taking the ship to a bunch of different places. There's going to be a couple of ambushes and stuff between the places we go, so we'll have to deal with those. We need them anyway for experience, but they can also give us ethers and potions as well. Pretty much right now, we're going to swap Donald out of our party because he can really mess with some of the pirates with his magic. So we're about to see the first ambush here. This is a really cool strat actually, I only recently found. We just summon Chicken Little and Blizzard things. If Chicken Little cooperates, they should all die like straight away. So now we lose Jack and we've got a timed fight. This fight lasts 1 minute. We pretty much just use it to grind for experience and some money.
Yeah, this fight is a good time to read a donation if you've got one, actually.
I do have a couple of donations. You got time for a couple?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Rex actually gave us an on-site donation, and he said, better go faster, Liquid, so hope that's on your plan.
Trying, man.
Donnie gave $2.62, and he says, Liquid, you sexy beast, Kappa, go faster, kill those animals. And FPS Sora gave $1.05 and says, make Sephi mod or riot and kill the animals. So this actually puts killing the animals quite in the lead at $28.42 compared to just $1.50. Wow. So it's quite a big difference.
Always donate to kill the animals. Never save them.
And Sayans just gave $5 and says, one hand.
Look at my experience.
So in all those fights, reasons for using FPS mode is we want to actually level our summons up to level 2. The reason being, we actually need the length of time Chicken Little can be alive in the next fight. The way summons level up in this game is every time a bar runs out, they get 1 XP. So using their limit, like Liquid did just then, actually gave more experience to Chicken Little. That was a sick ether drop too. It's funny. Generally in forced fights, enemies don't drop items, but for whatever reason, the ones in the ambushes do. This is a very scary fight. In this fight here, Chicken Little can actually break. If Sora gets hit by a cannonball at all, Chicken Little will stand on the spot throwing firecrackers, and the only way to fix him is to take another hit, which on critical mode is very scary. and unless you use a potion, it will kill you. We put a lot of faith in Chicken Little in this fight. Very good fight.
So we've got SA for everything. If I don't get SA, not this run, I wasn't going to play. If I didn't get something, it's not really my fault, as it were. There are a couple of times.
That actually is why I picked up the drive recovery for that fight. Just entirely for safety. I don't actually need it for the run. If I were going for attempts or anything, I wouldn't pick that up. It's just a waste of time.
The main reason people
That fight is also really scary. Every enemy in that fight two-shots you, and it's just generally terrifying. You have like one safety drive, and then from there it's just like hope you don't get hit anymore.
It's completely random what the pirates and the cannons decide to do. Generally, the cannons are pretty easy because you know where their attacks are going to land, but the pirates, they attack so quickly and so randomly that it's just scary. So here's the first boss of this world, or the final boss of this visit to the world, Barbosa. So this guy actually shares the same property as the other pirates in that he can be affected by magic in some pretty peculiar ways. We mentioned revenge value before, and the funny thing about this guy is that when you blizzard him, his revenge value is actually reset to 0. So we're actually able to get right up to the top of his revenge value and then just blizzard. And what we want to try and do pretty much is keep him stuck in this corner so we can just freely combo and blizzard every time he breaks out. Unfortunately, where he moves is pretty random, but a good fight nonetheless.
Alright, second last going mission, so we've got another time for donations if you have any. Donate! Kill the animals.
Save the animals.
Nah, you kill them.
Kill him. Frames are more important.
This is actually probably the scariest going mission because if I'm not paying close attention, I can die to the end boss at 3/4 health very easily, so it's actually kind of scary. I have to make sure I don't get hit and kill stuff if I need to.
I'll just take this time, mainly for the people watching the stream actually. If you don't know, there's actually 2 streams at the moment. This is Oz Speed Run Marathon number 2. There's actually Oz Speed Run Marathon, just by itself. So over there, we're actually playing Hitman Blood Money with Softman. So if you like to watch 2 streams at once, or different games, make sure you go follow that channel too. And it's the same charity, same everything, just 2 separate streams at the event.
How many deaths can I cover? Yeah, you've done 2 potions.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do
Stop being so good. Stop being so good.
I'm playing really well,
Yeah. This is actually a really good run at the moment. clearly we need to hope that he dies more so he can donate more. But yeah, guys, definitely check out both streams. They're both really cool runs. Good way to watch them both is on a Khadgar or multi-Twitch or something like that.
Now we're coming into Agrabah. This, in my opinion, is one of the probably the easiest world in all of the first visits, maybe apart from Beast Castle. It's nothing really too difficult, but there are a couple of death points I need to watch out for. And this is also going to be where I level Wisdom Form, because I'm going to be getting Quick Run for movement throughout the rest of the game after this world. So going into this world, we start straight off with a force fight, but we're just going to die. We don't want to fight. This happened. We died of this fight even in beginner categories, just because it takes so long. I think it's something like you need 70 or 80 hits to be able to end it properly. Nice, quick death. So now we're going to do a little shop. You've noticed we've been picking up a couple of armor things throughout the run. We're going to get another armor piece right here, Thundara Trinket. And we also picked up Ethers, because we're going to be needing a few in the next couple of worlds. Shoutouts to Midget, who didn't buy the armor here for a very, very long time and didn't know why he kept on dying. That one piece of armor prevents you from getting one-shot by pretty much all the second visit fights. I didn't know. So that's probably considered the longest menu in the game. He did a lot of things in there. First of all, he changed Aladdin to Sora Attack, and I don't think we've mentioned that one yet. Sora Attack is one of the most useful settings in the game. It pretty much tells your party members, hey, don't do anything because you suck. The other things he did there was he customized Reflect. So that's going to be a very powerful source of magic. We want Reflect because it not only defends us, but also deals a ton of damage to enemies, as you'll see coming up pretty soon. The other thing we did was put on a couple of abilities, Aerial Spiral, High Jump, Damage Drive, which gives you back drive based on how much damage you take. As well as, he put on Goofy Tornado, which is going to be useful in a couple of fights coming up. So this is leveling up Wisdom Form here. We get it to level 2 here, and then later on in another fight, we get it to level 3. Level 3 gives us Quick Run, which is the kind of movement you're seeing right now. It is a lot faster than running. And it's pretty good to note that actually, in Cage 2 English, the requirement in Heartless kills for Wisdom Form was actually a lot higher. So Valor Form is the main source of movement in that game. But in Final Mix, they actually reduced it because they realized grinding is boring. Also another thing that Quick Run actually, the recovery time for a normal Quick Run, like one dash, is way quicker in this game. So it is still faster than Valor Form in 2 English, but not by too much. So.
What a whiff.
What?
So this falling segment's pretty straightforward. Just kill all the enemies on each platform, move on to the next platform, kill some more enemies. You're going to see a really cool property, though, of Trinity Limit, Solo Trinity Limit right here. When you cast magic, it actually, if it's meant to stick around Sora, it will stay as he moves. So Reflect and Fire in particular, you'll see right here, he's about to use Reflect, and then it'll follow him in the Trinity and deal all the damage to that wizard. Alright, so this fight here is a very scary fight. You've got to fight a lot of enemies in a very small space. Luckily, they all die really quickly to Reflect, except the final three.
Yeah, this is where we're going to get level 3 Wisdom Form. So I have to make sure I time these reflects carefully and get the retaliation damage on them, because the Reflect is basically surrounding them, and the enemies are surrounding Sora, sorry, and Reflect just destroys a lot of them really quickly. And because they're low health, this is the fast way to clear out the room.
So he's going to switch party members here in a second to Goofy. Reason is we wanted to use Group Trinity. And a cool thing about Group Trinity is that not only does it count the hits you do with the 3 parts, it also counts the hits you do with Reflect after the Trinity is activated. And because of that, you're actually able to just clear these guys out. Unfortunately, we got some unlucky hits. But yeah, you can imagine fighting 3 fat bandits in a room where they can 2-shot you, like in a very enclosed space, is very scary. So right there, we put on Quick Run that we got. We also put on EXP Boost, which we'll be using a bit later, and we put on Donald's Limit Comet.
We also put on Aerial Finish, which is very useful for the
Aerial
next
Finish.
world and this fight as well.
So there are a lot of, in this game, finisher modifiers that change the finisher that you do. Pretty much all of them make you do more damage, but there are some that are more suited to particular situations than others. Aerial Finish is really useful because it does a lot of damage over a lot of hits. Very good fight. You know it's a good fight when you finish it in Valor form. Okay, so we're going in another gummy mission here. Last one for a little while. So if we have any other donations or some reminders to read, now's a good time.
Alright, we only have one donation at the moment, but it is from Maximax, who gave $3.15. No comment associated with it, but thank you very much for your donation. It goes towards Beyond Blue.
Thank you very much.
And he can have that bomb. That's his. I don't want it. I don't need it. So he can have it. It's all his. Now, if I did that right, he will not be chasing me as I go up around this corner. I should not see him. And get up. And I really think this guy is
Liquid's currently playing the game without hands, as we can see.
This gummy mission has about a minute of free time at the start. So if we have any other donations,
Thanks for the donation, Liquid. What are you putting that towards again?
Kill the animals.
It's killing the animals. Are you sure you want to do that, man?
Yeah.
All right then.
everyone, LiquidWiFi has entered the chat.
Yeah, it's
Probably.
Yeah.
Reminder to you guys in the chat as well, there are 2 streams. Be sure to check out twitch.tv/OzSpeedrunMarathon as well. You can watch it in Khadgar if you want to check out both streams at once. There's some really cool runs going.
And if you'd like a donation, donation comment to be read out on just one stream or the other, you can actually put it in 2 in braces if you want.
Gotta go towards killing the animals.
And we have another donation by Rocket, who's just given me $10. They'll be going towards a donation incentive for Stream 1, which is Donkey Kong, was it? Yep, in Mario Kart 8. Thank you for the donation. Sorry? No, it's alright.
We're not going to swear. He might.
I honestly thought I had a lot more time. That was like the fastest she's ever closed the door. And she does one shot on professional. Actually, maybe not. No, I just shouted kind of abruptly. There was no swearing. Not yet. I haven't done anything that bad.
You gotta get that swear jar ready, Softy.
If I do something like really bad, then I'll probably start stuff. Anyway,
Okay, so this is Halloween Town, spooky, scary skeletons and all. We are customizing Genie here because we're about to use him in this next fight. Not because we want to use him, but because we want to die. So we're going to take Jack's items because he doesn't use them very well. Also, we put on Finishing Leap, which is a very powerful ground finisher.
This is actually one of the longest force fights in the game. It goes for about 2.5 minutes, so dying here is really, really important. And luckily, we even do it on any beginner category in every category we have in this game, so it just saves that much time.
why is there a swear jar? Because we're at a convention where we're not like audio travel. We're not. We really should be swearing. So I think it's forcing everyone to give money to charity. If they don't. Yes, the swear jar is part of donation. Anyway, so this is a really, really hard boss fight. I think we're 100% focused for this.
Yes, we do have a swear jar, but we will not be swearing. Softman might.
Drew like one of the greatest assassins in the world. And he's dead. So that's nice.
Hey, so this is Candy Cane Lane. On Candy Cane Lane, we actually want an EXP boost here. We're trying to hit level 18 before Prison Keeper. So what we do there is we actually stand still, waiting for the box to sit down. Otherwise, he's going to jump away, and the fight becomes a lot scarier. So using Jack's limit here as well, it drags in all the enemies and can actually do a lot of damage. So nice, we hit level 18 there, so that's a strength boost and a magic boost. Without that strength boost, Prison Keeper and Oogie Boogie both become very slow fights.
Anyway, so this guy is going to try and trace this. He doesn't really give a damn, so whatever. So I don't think it's going to be PB. This is an excellent run for a marathon. Like the fact I only had to reset for the fact I only had to reset missions for that idiot on the boat is really good. Right, so we're going to go into
Alright, so we're going towards Prison Keeper. The way Prison Keeper works is he has Lock, Shock, and Barrel, and he can choose one of them to eat, and after he eats them, he gains some sort of attack. So, Shock goes really high in the air and shoots things down from above. We don't like that because it's very hard to catch. So, if we get that one to start off with, we're going to have to take some damage to boost up there. Barrel is probably the best one to get straight off. He's the easiest to counter. You just reflect and then combo. Lock is also pretty easy, but he takes a little while because he has to charge up a fireball. What we're going to try and do is actually skip one of the 3 phases. He's meant to have 4 phases here, 1 for each kid and then 1 with all 3. But if we do our combos correctly, Liquid can actually skip one of them here. It is also possible to skip the invincibility animation into the final phase. We're not sure how, because it's only happened like 2 or 3 times, but it is possible. So that's the damage boost we need to do to catch Shock. Now at about 2.2 bars here. Yep. So now we're in the final phase. We managed to skip one of the phases. Now, every time we do a finisher, we can actually stun this boss out of... We can actually stun the boss out of its attacks.
Come on. Come on.
The unfortunate thing is that's the only way to get Shock down, so... But this last phase is very scary. His attacks are very random. So we're using Dance Call. We can take out a lot of his health and finish him off safely.
Yeah, that is one of the hardest fights in the run, just because there's so many different situations that can happen and that you have to deal with. It's really, really difficult.
To be honest, I thought you were gonna die.
I did too.
So guys, if I was going to PB, no, we're done with the PB. I actually think I was on PB pace as well.
Swear jar.
Nah, it's okay. I'm deeming that okay. Right, so we're going to hide him over here.
Alright, so this is Oogie Boogie now. This is, like KH1, it's a gimmick fight. It's really silly. The way it works is you're on 3 conveyor belts, and you've got to knock Presence up to knock him down. The really annoying part about this fight is his attacks do a lot of damage. His fists one-shot you, and he spawns Heartless. Particularly Emerald Blues can just combo you until you're dead. The other problem with this fight is it's really RNG. He can choose random actions to do in between throwing out boxes in the first phase. And if he throws 2 dice or throws a fist, it's actually really slow. Ideally, we want him to not do an action at all, because doing nothing is one of the actions he can do.
Also, this fist one-shots you, so I get destroyed if I get hit by it. It's very scary.
Yeah. During the first phase, you really have to listen out for audio cues of when he's going to fist. Other than that, in second and third phase, his patterns are set. Now, because of those enemies that he's going to summon, we're going to get Chicken Little out in a second so he can control them for us, hopefully. Scary place to go.
Alright,
so we got White Knights. That's the best. If one of the enemies survives there, you can actually go into the next platform and he won't spawn any enemies at all. We call that present skip. Unfortunately, if Chicken Little whistles them both into the fist and they both die, we will get presents. That also not only takes time for him to spawn more presents, but we lose time because we have to use Dance Call to clear them out while we damage Oogie.
I actually timed this the other day. It's fast to use Dance Call anyways, so I need to remember to do that if I ever get that again.
Okay. Must be very recent.
Yeah, as in like 2 days ago.
So what Liquid was going for there, he was really mashing for a one-frame trick. There, you have 1 frame to actually catch the movement to the middle conveyor belt there. Unfortunately, it's not consistent. It's RNG. Yeah. Another random thing about that fight is that we don't always know where Oogie's going to go in that final phase. It's completely random whether he sits in the middle or he goes to the other side. If he goes to the other side, that can also lose you time. Okay, so we're having a quick visit to Twilight Town again. This is the Berserkers fight. This fight is very scary. The Berserkers can two-shot you, but luckily we have a strat that is pretty consistent to deal with them. Now, a really cool thing you'll see here is why we equipped Goofy Tornado. Goofy generally keeps all the dust together and knocks them in and out of the magnet so that the magnet constantly deals more damage. That pause buffer there is so that the drive can load whilst Liquid is...
Excuse me?
Sorry, I'll keep quiet for 2 seconds. There's a death.
I don't know what happened there. He's never done that before.
So yeah, what I was saying is we pause buffer there because we want the drive to load while the enemies aren't moving. The reason being is because if we don't pause buffer there, the Claymore will actually disappear and we'll miss the reaction command. So add 1 death to the death counter.
If the screen goes down, it's because we just blue screen. Everyone wish us luck. I don't think it's blue screen.
Okay, so that's what's meant to happen. The Berserker's meant to land into the RC and get dragged by it. Ooh, nice.
Yeah, as we mentioned before, the Keyblades will actually increase the damage of the reaction command just because the extra strength, so...
That was very close. He delayed each part of the reaction command just then because he wanted to make sure all the berserkers came towards him to get hit. So we get our third drive form of the game here. We get Limit Form. Limit Form is a Final Mix exclusive form, and we also got Oathkeeper. The way Limit Form works is it replaces your magic commands with limits. Sonic Blade, Ragnarok, Ars Arcanum, and what's the other one? Strike Raid.
It's basically KH1 Sora, but he's a bit more buff, so...
So right here, we'll just be using Wisdom Form for some movement. So not much to really say about this, except you can unintentionally pass through this cutscene here, but you don't want to do that because the loading zone behind it won't actually trigger until the cutscene has been watched.
Yeah, it's like a really good example of how solid this game is. This game has very little glitches, and like, you can't access loading zones until you hit a certain trigger of the game, so that cloud trigger will load the loading zone, and you can't get it any other way until you watch the cutscene or skip it, whatever.
So pretty much after that, we're just doing some movement, so if we got a donation or two.
Alright, we have $2 from DJ Salty Nuts, who gave $2. He says, "Soup guys, and shout outs to ASM, nice job for this year's stream. Set up me gusta. Donation goes to Kill the Animals." So I've already put that towards, so Kill the Animals is quite far ahead now. And I'll actually be passing over to Rocket Pineapple for the rest of probably Kingdom Hearts for the hosting. So, the rest of the evening, actually. And good job, guys, on reaching $2,200, and I'll be putting the donations we got on site into the program in a second.
Thank you,
Thank
Oki.
you. I'm surprised he didn't say the other thing again. Do you remember the last donation? So we're heading towards Space Paranoids, another world within a world. This world is really interesting. It has a couple of mini games, one of which is really scary.
Yeah, if I die to this next mini game, not the box, I can't die there. But if I die to Light Cycle, I lose, depending on where I die, I lose about 2 minutes, maybe even more.
2 to 2.5.
Pretty brutal, and it's basically all comes down to first phase. Second phase is pretty okay most of the time. Although now that I said that, I'm probably going to get destroyed or something. And also, I'd like to point out that there's only one more gummy mission for the rest of the run, so this will be pretty full on for the next hour and a half.
Do you need to do that? Will that bring it up there though? Last time I messed with this, it came up on there. No, I mean like, last time, like the program itself showed up. Yeah. Do you want to just sit here?
So spawn of this red box is entirely RNG. It can spawn like from anywhere directly behind me to the opposite side of the room. That was a pretty good spawn, so I didn't really have to worry about getting there so much.
Donation tracker?
It's doing that. No, it's coming up on that. I just tried it. It's not coming up here, but it's coming up on the.
Oh, I see. Drag it over here.
Oh. Can we add this as well?
So 227, 250. Here's some 250. I don't know what that's count for.
I don't know. Someone just chucked it in there.
That's counted towards donation. Okay. Yep. Right. And another 10.
And I've already donated $32.
Explain Stitch or whatever if you want.
Yeah. So we just picked up Stitch. That's our next summon. Timer.
Oh my. Okay. We got a problem.
This timer got reset.
Timing's good.
Do you guys have global hotkeys on?
Yeah, they do. That'll be why.
Liquid confirmed on world record pace. Just look at that time.
I'm gonna die.
Well,
I can give an estimate. I can give an estimate of when to start it in like a couple of minutes.
they didn't tell me they had global hotkeys on.
I didn't think they would.
I wouldn't.
Tell them once they beat the hostile program to start the timer at 2:31. That'll be the best estimate. Unless I die here, that'll make it 2:34.
How can I reset this? How can I fix this?
You supplied.
I don't know how to fix it. I'm not gonna mess with it.
Good. Oh my god. This is terrifying. Come on. Yes. Alright, I should be home free now.
Alright.
Shoutouts to K-Hots.
Thanks, Charles. Yeah.
They can check
No,
the
it
current
updates
port.
immediately. It updates immediately now.
And it'll just like take a few minutes for it to like get up.
Alright, so as I was saying, we got Stitch. Stitch is a cool thing. He sits on our screen. He's not actually like a physical model out where like the other ones. What he does is he licks us and heals our MP back up to full. The other thing he does is he can use a ukulele if we're at low health, getting HP orbs out of enemies.
Yeah, I intentionally took that hit before I entered this fight because this is where I'm going to be EXP boosting for about a minute. I need to make sure I am around level 24 before I finish this, and this is just the best place to do it. So I also have to be really careful not to get hit here, because even though he does protect us from a majority of attacks, there is one attack I have to watch out for, which almost happened then.
You have an allowance of about 2 ethers here if Stitch isn't helping you out. But ideally, you want him to just keep healing your MP. Luckily, he's being a bro right now.
Oh god, please. Oh, I wasn't looking.
So the cool thing about Stitch ukuleleing is it knocks enemies in and out of the magnet, and that makes them take magnet damage like every single time they're knocked into it.
That was one of the best grindings I've ever seen. On average, I ended at about 20 seconds, so I got really good luck there.
Being told to add 2,
Hey, he's touching
15,
it.
12 to the time.
There you go.
Alright,
So
how do
do
I
the
add
math.
that?
Huh?
Can I even add that, or are we just adding it up?
Add it at the end. Add it at the end.
Yeah. Well, you can just restart the timer to have the start of that, so
I'll just...
that'll be the best thing to do. Like, stop the timer and then put it at like 2, put it at 2. Ah, shit, I know. Oh, bell. Put it like 220. To do it, you have to right click and then go into the splits. And then set timer, right? Put it like, I don't know.
2:15:12 it was,
Put it-
so I
Put
need to be
it
at...
222. And then that'll be your best bet.
Let's try and set it as accurate as I can.
Just like,
So 48. So the way Hostile Program works just there, as you can see, we collect orbs and we freeze him. While he's frozen, his HP barriers can't be broken, so we need to make sure we break those before we freeze him. And using Comet there actually it allows us to do a lot of damage in a small amount of time.
Stop a rocket. Live splicing.
That's about accurate.
I think that's about right. I know it's either 219 or 220.
Saved Caparos. So corridor fight here, we're using a lot of magnet to deal with all of the enemies. One of the particular enemies in there was dancers. Dancers are extremely scary. They have a grab move that can one-shot you and takes a long time to actually do it. Using Chicken Little to draw in all the dusks, so that's really cool.
Alright, this fight is way more scary. It has, what, 12 dances or something? It can
Yeah, a
one-shot
lot
you
of
very
dances.
easily. This is actually the scariest world in the run because everything just destroys you.
So, one other element in this fight is the security system. The security system can really mess you up. If you hit a magnet while they're all in the air from the security system, the fight is really messed up. Your MP in this fight is actually very specifically set out so that you hit MP charge right towards the end of the fight to get a lot of drive back. Drive boost is the word I was looking for.
Pretty sure not. No, it's not accurate. It's pretty inaccurate now, but whatever. I think it's better to be personally.
You can always retime it.
It's not going to be
No, it's up there. So this is the real Demix fight. We've got to do a water clone minigame, and then we've got to actually fight him. So what we do here is use Trinity to clear out all but less than 5 of the clones, and then it does this.
Yeah, this just chews through his health. Wow, that was a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage. So now we use Master Form, and what we're able to do is we're able to dish out a lot of damage here. The great thing about Master Form finishes is that none of the hits do revenge value until the final hit. And now here we force a retaliation and use Comet so we can actually just take him out very safe. And that was a great fight.
Alright, this is the scariest part of the run in my opinion. So there are 4 forced fights that I need to do here. And hold on, can you explain it?
Yeah, so this is Final Fantasy fights. We call them that because in each of them we're Sora alone, but we've got Final Fantasy characters helping us out. Now, the first 2 are Yuffie and Cloud. Yuffie and Leon. Yuffie's pretty useless, but we'll take the help anyway. Now there's this really cool strat that Liquid's recently come up with, using Limit Form to clear through these. Now the scary thing about these fights is that there's these things called Morning Stars. Morning Stars deal 90% of your health, and if you die during any of 4 of these fights, you have to go back and fight Demyx again.
So yeah, dying right at the end is about 6 minutes of time loss. This is the worst death to have in the run. Whoa, what was that?
So basically what we're going to be doing on most of these is abusing either Limit Form, or abusing a mix of Limit Form and the reaction command of the Knights. Rising Sun is very strong with reaction boost, which we now have 2 of. We got a second one during the grind.
Wow, that was good. I didn't even have a chance to get them.
So now, this is the scariest one, Tifa's platform. It has a lot of Morning Stars. Luckily, Tifa's a beast, so she just destroys Morning Stars, but we still like to help her out. As you can see, Rising Sun does all but, like, nearly the entire health bar of the Morning Stars. And when they're caught in a magnet like that,
wow.
Tifa goes absolutely insane.
That was so good.
Now, Cloud is generally not so scary, although it has Sentry Bots. Sentry Bots can just combo you to death. Usually they don't get an attack off though. Yeah, that wind-up move with all those lasers right there is very scary. So now, we just hit level 2, and the way we level up Limit Form like that is by using finishes on the limits. Every time you use one of its limits finishes, you get 1 point of experience. We actually require level 2 in order to be able to do some of the strats later on in the run.
That was really good.
Those were very good Final Fantasy fights. And to keep the scary fights going, we now have 1000 Heartless. This is a fight where you've got to fight 1000 Heartless, and
you can die at any moment.
It's random. There's a ton of Sentry Bots and a ton of Knights, and they can just kill you because they want to. In level 1, this is the scariest fight in the run.
Yeah.
But luckily, we have once more, so if we get hit in a long combo, we can survive on 1 HP. The basic idea for this strat is you want to always use the Surveillance Bot Sparkle Ray. You don't want to use Rising Sun, because not only does it place you out of position, it's also not very good at killing stuff.
Yeah, we call this guy Steve. If he gives us short wind-ups, his name is Steve. If not, his name's Kyle. It's just a meme.
Now, the one thing we have to be really careful of here is that not all of these enemies are spawned in at the same time. It's only a limited number of enemies spawned in at once. And the scary part about that is, if we're not careful, we can actually despawn our Steve. So we always have to stay nearby a Steve. That's just to give you an idea of how much damage these things can do.
Oh, God.
That's 3 potions. Wait, are we counting the one on Donald?
No, I've been counting my potions on 5 at the moment and 1 death, so it's 15. Something to mention is the camera movement is incredibly important in this fight, just because, as I just said before, not all the enemies are spawned in, so we have to move the camera in such a way that they will get spawned in. I don't know why I did that. Alright. Just got to be really careful with how the enemies are spawned and everything.
I guess sometimes.
Okay, so we're done with the scariest world in the run. Now we can move on to second visits, which are pretty much completing every other world again, but they're a lot quicker.
Yeah, this is my favorite part of the run personally. It's just so fast-paced and everything goes by quickly. Compared to the first visits, it's like, what, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours to complete them. Second visits only takes about 40 minutes if you're really quick. So it's like, cuts out a lot of time from no-going missions and shorter worlds in general.
Okay, so in Beast Castle 2, normally you're meant to talk to Beast straight up. We don't do that because when all these second visits, your save points have been reset. We don't have those teleport locations anymore. So to save us some time later on, we want to just go into the parlor there, get the save point. Trying to get to where we want to be without that save point is very dangerous and just wastes time. Now, here's a cool property with Trinity. The major drive portion of Trinity is really good at knocking things in and out of Magnet, so Magnet will deal a lot of damage. Plus, those hits are all counted towards the total for Trinity.
Yeah,
So Trinity Limit does a lot.
You'll see something similar a bit later in the run with Master Form Genie, or Master Genie, sorry. It has the exact same properties as Magnet Trinity, except it does way more damage.
So now you're probably wondering here, why is he walking in and out of the same room? The reason being, there's a special Heartless that we want to spawn called a Bulky Vendor, and we want that because it gives us a lot of EXP. And by moving into a room that would normally have Bulky Vendors 3 times without Bulky spawning, we'll manipulate the RNG so that they will spawn in every other location, guaranteed. We really need those because later on we need to be level 30 by a particular point, so we will be needing that EXP. Funny thing is here, the next boss would be Zaldin, or that's what the game intends, but we don't want to fight Zaldin. We don't like Zaldin yet, we're too weak, so we just leave. So instead we're going to go do Port Royal.
So the reason why we actually went there is because we need the Rumbling Rose Keyblade. That does 1 extra damage than Hero's Crest, and it has Finishing Plus, so we can do 3 finishes in 1 combo, and that does a lot of damage. It just ends up being overall faster.
Plus, now that we have an ability called Guard Break, a lot of our combos are going to be ground combos. Between that and other modifiers like Flash Step and Sliding Dash, our ground combos have actually become a lot faster than they normally were. As you can see, Pirates are still very weak to ice and other forms of magic. But yeah, triple finishes is very strong, particularly in this world where we can have triple magic finishes.
You guys got time for a quick donation? Just let me know when you have.
Yeah, just a minute.
So right here, we don't want to do these ambushes here because they are very slow, and we don't need this EXP. We can get it elsewhere. Since everything's a lot stronger now, it just takes too long. But we've got a first boss of this world coming up, Grim Reaper. So this boss shares the same properties as the other pirates in how it's affected by magic. The thing about this boss is after a certain number of hits, he teleports away, but to avoid doing that, we abuse Blizzard's ability to freeze him. So this is the first time you'll get to see Master Form. Master Form is the 4th form we got. Oh, second time we see Master Form, sorry. But yeah, it does a lot of damage with 3 finishes. I forgot about Hostile Program. But yeah, you... Oh. Oh, come on. So yeah, you got to see Master Form do a lot of damage to Hostile Program, but you really don't... and Demix, but you really don't get to see its potential until this fight where you have triple finishes. It's actually pretty insane.
I can read a donation now.
Yep. We have a $10.50 donation from K Hearts. He says, GL to Liquid for the amazing 2FM crit run. And good job to Midget for the great commentary this week. Donation goes to both gentlemen's choices.
Kill the animals.
Kill the animals.
Kill the animals.
All right, those
Thank you,
animals
Chaos.
will be killed.
Sorry. My mind lapsed for a moment. I was like, wait. Oh yeah, hostile program damage. Oh, whoops. We good. So right there, we see more of Magnet plus Trinity. Trinity knocking the Gambler in and out of the Magnet, doing pretty much double the damage that Trinity normally would do because of the Magnet's hits. So this is pretty much just a fetch quest. We have to go get a number of medallions.
Something we didn't mention before is we actually, the chest that I picked up after beating Grim Reaper, contained Peter Pan. It's going to be used on a couple of fights, towards the end and in the next world actually. But he's pretty useful. He's used to stun lock a lot of enemies.
The other cool thing about Peter Pan for critical mode is he actually has the ability to auto life. So if the next world's boss does manage to do something random, we will get a second chance.
What is this? All the whiffs.
Where's the medallion? So we've now got horizontal slash as well. This is a modifier to our regular air combos. That makes a lot more damage to our air combos. As well, it extends our air combo by 1 hit. So we can essentially do 1 air hit and then 2 horizontal slashes, despite not actually having an air combo plus.
So this is actually one of the most scary fights in the game. I'm going to let Midget explain. Whoa!
Or BGM.
That's the first case of a BGM. Don't know
So
what causes this.
music's really weird. So, okay, Grim Reaper 2 is susceptible to magic, just like the other Grim Reaper and the Pirates. The way this guy works, though, is he's sort of like, he takes the idea of if the medallions are not in the chest, he can't die. So what we've got to do is we've got to use magic to get the medallions out and make him vulnerable so we can hit him with our physical moves. He has certain phases and HP barriers, so he will actually suck up more medallions, but there's this cool strat right here. We can do 1 single thunder in the air, and all the medallions are knocked out.
Bad thing about this though is that you can actually spawn on top of the medallions, so he'll pick them up.
Yeah. The funny thing is as well, the game actually lags really hard with all the medallions on the ground. So we have some strats later on that actually reduce some lag.
I need this card.
So we use Master Form here to knock out all the medallions because he sucks up all of them. But because of that, we need all these potions right now to keep our party members alive because Master Form takes both our party members. This is close.
That was close.
So right here, Liquid's gone into first-person mode. This is actually a strat. This actually reduces the lag from all the medallions dropping and the thunders going on. As well, for some reason, it seems to make more drop.
Come on.
So here we need Grim Reaper to come back to the ground because our ground combos are going to do a lot more damage at the moment. But yeah, we're past the scary part of the fight. Pretty much now it's just trying to finish him off. Nice fight. So yeah, that fight can be really scary. When I didn't used to pick up the Thundara trinket, that fight used to one-shot me all the time. But yeah, and like Liquid said, that's the first we've heard of a BGM glitch, a background music glitch in this run. This game can make some weird music for some reason. So now we're going to Halloween Town 2. We want to do this world first because of the Keyblade it gives us at the end. It'll be the Keyblade we use for the remainder of the game. So there, he just changed Jack to Sora Attack, and he also changed Goofy back to Sora Attack because we don't want them messing with any of the fights coming up, and they will mess with them. The other thing he did was put on Donald's Duck Flare ability. That's his second limit, and it'll be used in a couple of fights coming up. Alright, so this is Lock, Shock, and Barrel. These guys can one-shot you. They are very scary. So we're going to shove them in boxes because they've been naughty. So what he did there was he used his Reflect, but then because Jack's limit pulls everything in, it pulls it into the damage of the Reflect. So we can just take them out all quickly at once. So summoning Stitch here to refill his MP. We actually need Stitch for the next part coming up. Alright, so now we're going to head towards the next fight, collecting some presents. But first, we're going to see these bulky vendors that we talked about earlier. Now, what we can actually do on these, funnily enough, is we can actually EXP boost these things. So what we're going to do, we're going to grab the first one normally. Now we're going to hope Stitch does not play his ukulele, because this box is just going to go whack and EXP boost. That means we don't have to grab the one in Agrabah. It gives a lot of EXP.
Interesting thing as well, that means we can EXP boost the White Knights in the next fight, if I don't die, obviously. Gives us double experience, which is very, very helpful towards the end as well.
Yeah. We want to try to be level 30 before the boss of the next world. So the strat right here, we're going to see Reflect into Dance Call again. Now, the fight will keep going until you pick up all the presents, but it spawns graveyards if you don't pick up all the presents after killing these guys. So the idea is just we want to kill them and pick up the presents straight away, because graveyards will one-shot us. That was a very good fight.
Yeah, see, I'd be dead right now if I didn't pick them all up.
Alright, so we got a little mini game here, making presents. It's pretty much RNG. There's different values, the boxes that they give you, and Lock, Shock, and Barrel try to mess you up. But it takes a little while. I think we have time for Zumi's donation.
Yeah, if you have a donation, read one.
Yeah, we actually do have a hot donation having come in from our boy Zumi. It says, "Screw you, Liquid, I'll do it anyway, Mingli."
I love you, Zumi.
Wish you were here.
Oh, what is this?
So yeah, you're seeing an example of really bad RNG. The red presents are only worth 1 point, and sometimes the game just gives you a ton of them. Ideally, you want green boxes and gold boxes, giving you, I believe it's 10 and 5 each.
Yeah. This is awful luck.
Yeah. Pretty much you can judge how slow or fast this went by how many kids are out. If all 3 are out, like right now, you know that you just got awful RNG. Ideally, you will only ever. Ideally, you will only ever see Lock.
Marathon luck.
And there's the gold box. And the green box. Only in a marathon.
I would swear because of that, but I don't have money on me.
This is a very stupid fight. So, experiment. We break him apart, we put him back together, and then he can break out whenever he feels like it. This is a very dangerous boss, because he can just kill you because he wants to. Luckily, we have once more, but it is very scary.
There is actually a crash on this boss if I die at a specific time. And I'm gonna hope that doesn't happen.
So right here, we're summoning Peter Pan. This is the first we're seeing of Peter Pan. He has this cool ability where he can actually stun lock bosses. It's only some bosses though. And this is one of them.
Yeah,
So
now we just go completely ham and...
all ham, no cheese. So now he wants to dismiss Peter Pan when he breaks the final pieces off him. We want to use Dance Call. The thing is, we want to keep this boss stunned in this phase, otherwise he'll turn himself invincible, and just run at us for a little while. So we just got the Keyblade Decisive Pumpkin. So Decisive Pumpkin has 6 strength, which is the highest strength Keyblade we have at the moment. As well, it has the ability Combo Boost, which increases the damage of the finisher on our ground combos. Combining with the Combo Boost ability that we already have, it's going to make our ground finishers do a lot of damage. Okay, so we're going to head to carpet fights right now.
If you've got any donations, then you can read them out if you have anything.
We don't have any donations at the moment, but just reminding you that we are the Australian Speedrun Marathon, raising money for Beyond Blue, which is a fantastic charity to support mental health awareness. We have raised over nearly $2,300 this week, which is incredible, and we got to push for $2,500. So keep those donations rolling in.
Let's try to get there before the end of this run.
Donate, kill the animals.
Okay, so these carpet fights are really strange. What the goal is here is to move in a specific way so the rapid thrusters all are drawn in towards you. And then you pretty much just want to abuse Reflect and Magnet to kill off the rest of the enemies. An interesting difference actually in this fight between this version and the 2.5 version is that the carpet actually goes a lot faster in this little movement section here. It speeds up really quickly.
This next fight is actually, it's consistent, but if it goes wrong, it's very likely for death, so...
Yeah, this next fight features a Crimson Jazz, and Crimson Jazz is really hurt. They're also really hard to kill, and only finishes or magnet stuns them. Good fight.
Come on.
So an interesting thing here, he actually wants to despawn these enemies.
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't?
I don't despawn them. It's slow.
You despawn the next ones?
Yeah, there's no time loss.
Right. So yeah, he wants to despawn the enemies so that he has no trouble locking on and hitting this next switch. I smell that food, it's making me hungry. Okay, so this next part is a little bit of an auto-scroller. We just go on to try and kill enemies to get to level 30 by the time we get out of here.
So yeah, by the end of this, I want to hit level 30. If I don't, then I'll lose about 30 seconds to the next fight, so it's pretty important. I'm going to hit it, but there's no worries there, but there's very rare occasions where you don't get enough experience and you just lose a lot of time for it. And also, I'll die in 2 hits here, so I have to pay attention throughout everything, like everything that falls and can hurt me, so just so I don't die.
Interesting thing here, you can't actually EXP boost on this carpet fight because it's not actually Sora killing the enemies, it's the terrain when you knock them away. If it was Sora killing the enemies, you could, but yeah, unfortunately, like if your party members kill it but you're under half health, EXP boost just doesn't work.
That didn't cost me any more than a minute. So.
Still annoyed that the guy came over and did that thing, didn't even realize he had global hotkeys on.
Can't tell us that kind of thing.
Well, because it wasn't even me, it was him that put the donation thing on. Okay, so this is Genie Jafar. The idea with this strat is we want to take out his stomach because that stuns him and allows us to do a lot of damage to the head. The thing with the carpet is it changes a lot of your moves into other moves. It actually makes slide dash really powerful. So we really want to focus on making the first hit slide dash. And he's got HP barriers that we want to break with magic. Or finishes, but ideally magic.
Yeah, I have to be really careful not to push him past this next HP barrier. Otherwise he'll DM me and it's guaranteed death.
Yeah, if Jafar GMs, he becomes very much more aggressive. Shooting fireballs and thunderbolts. Nice.
Good fight. Alright, so we're going to go back to Beast Castle to finish off Zaldin. This is probably a really bad memory for people who played this as a kid because usually people struggle with this fight quite a bit, but in a speedrun it's pretty easy. So I'm going to show that off if I don't die.
This is actually surprising when you first see it. The first time I saw it, I was like, oh my god, this guy gave me so much trouble. So this pre-fight's pretty simple. It's just magnet finishing leap, kill some stuff.
There's two in there, yeah.
Dragoons can be a really annoying enemy. There's a chance one can actually glitch out and go invisible. And that's really bad because when it can one-shot you, that is so scary.
Alright, so an interesting thing about Master Form's aerial dodge is it actually has deflection frames. So I'm going to collect 7 jumps at the start here and use them all, do a bit of damage, and then I'm going to deflect another one of Zaldin's attacks with aerial dodge, and I'm going to get more jumps. Oh, that was 8. That's actually kind of bad. I'm actually too good. Oh no, I can fix it. And then we kill him just from here.
The double reaction boost combined with the extra strength from 2 Keyblades is just ridiculous with the jumps.
What? That's never happened before. It's not that big of a deal, it's just kind of dumb.
Just remember, not data roll timing. Okay, he's dead.
I don't know why that happened, actually. Guessing because I did 2 thunders.
That was my guess. But it's fine, he didn't DM, so we got DM skip. That's what's important. His DM is really long and just annoying to avoid, and after he does it, he becomes really difficult to hurt.
Yeah, actually, on KH2 English, if he DMs once, he'll immediately DM again every single time, so it's even worse on that version.
Alright, so Land of Dragons 2 now. We first got to go up to the summit and fight Riku. This is a lone fight with Sora. Generally a pretty simple fight, although Riku can kind of be a pain and just run away from you a lot. Another example of your reflect magic following you in your trinity. So we're going to use limit form here. So you'll see how much damage Zen Tetsuken does. It's insane. That was a really good fight. Zen Tetsuken is extremely powerful.
Alright, so coming up here is the first usage of Master Genie, and it has the same properties as Magnet Trinity does, as I mentioned before, but Master Genie does a lot more damage because he just lasts way longer. And we have Mega Nero now as well, so that will also add to the damage.
You guys are gonna like this.
It's even better when we get to Twilight Town. Just destroys them.
Fight is done. So the next little fight here is snipers. The annoying thing with snipers is that they can just dance around the room shooting you from far away. So hopefully we want to try and catch them all in magnets though.
Wait!
Okay.
I almost dropped one in the sledge jar then.
No, snipers can be very scary because they can just knock you out of nowhere, and they two-shot you. Okay, so this next fight's Storm Rider. You want to try and stay on his back, but he's really good at throwing you off. So, but the thing is, Genie actually does a lot of damage.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite fights. Just it looks really cool to do, and it's really fun to do.
Without Genie, like, this fight would just be such a pain because you get thrown off so easily and you'd have to try and get back on to do minimal damage. That's really good damage.
Oh, that's bad. I won't kill him here.
So now we want to use Duck Flare. Duck Flare's going to be doing a lot of damage while we hit the guy. Very close.
Oh, swag strats.
Nice. Okay, nice.
I did
So able
not
get
mean
up
to
on the
do
back.
that.
Generally, that's actually really hard.
Alright, so coming up on the final going mission, if you have any donations to read, go for it.
We have one donation from the Gel2 who says, good to see you guys enjoying ASM. Here's to blessing your endgame. Don't whiff any hits.
Thank you, Gel.
Thanks, Jill.
We're about $5 away from hitting $2,300, so keep those donations coming in. It's very much appreciated.
Alright, so from here, all we've got left is to beat the fight with Mickey, beat the fight with Axel, and then we have to finish off the boss rush, which is the end of the game, basically. So it's pretty full on right after this. There's not really any downtime. And it's really easy to die pretty much anywhere along here. Like, easier than the rest of the game, I'd say. Because your execution has to be perfect, or near perfect, otherwise it's an instant death on critical.
Yeah, I noticed that too. There's been a few around. There's been a few around.
Yeah, it's probably like fine with like errors or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's on the bottom of the stream, I think.
I want to get cash so that like all the money goes, but I only have $1 no.
That's what I did.
And now this is the one place there are guaranteed torpedoes here. So it makes life not fair.
So now we're in Twilight Town. We're gonna heading towards the mansion to have the fight with Mickey. The same method of clearing out enemies I used in the palace fight back in Land of Dragons, I'm gonna be using that here. Except it's much more enemies and it goes by really quickly. As in like, maybe like 30-second fight or something. And going through the forest before the mansion is actually really tricky. I get one shot by everything in there, so I have to move a specific way so I don't get destroyed.
Wow, that.
I have never seen that
Why
before.
did that shoot so quickly?
I've never seen that before in my life.
Looks like the game really wants you to donate.
Alright, that's
Marathon
20 bucks.
luck.
I've never seen that before in my life.
It
Wow.
shot so fast.
Yeah.
Hey, oh my god.
That's what was meant to happen. I have no idea why that happened.
Neither do I. The unfortunate thing about this strat is that it messes up if you target an enemy, and unfortunately Mickey hit a creeper towards Liquid, and the auto target came up.
All my good stitch luck got used up back in Space Paranoids. So yeah, that was just a bit of bad RNG, unfortunately. As a backup, I have to end up doing this, it sucks, but whatever. Not that bad. Probably loses only about 20, 25 seconds at most if you do it right. So what am I right now? I'm at like $26, $27 I'm donating for deaths and shit.
And the swear jar.
And the swear jar. I'll put that in afterwards. Sorry. Alright, that's another...
It's fine.
I'll put that in after.
So we're moving into the next fight, the Axel fight. This fight has two parts to it. The first part is relatively simple. It's just a bunch of dusks. We kill them pretty quickly. But the second part, you're on your own with Axel as a somewhat party member. The problem is Axel can knock all the enemies out of your way and out of your magnet, much like Mickey just did in the last fight.
Yeah, I'm convinced the next fight will never make sense, so... And I've looked into it so much. Just will not... Doesn't have... The only thing I have is that spawns are tied to the first wave, so... You have to kill all of the first wave for the fight to go properly, but that can just... It can randomly just not work sometimes, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense.
That's the best move. That's what we want Axel to do. This is what Liquid meant before. These dusks are going to spawn more assassins.
There we go, yep. The fight doesn't really make any sense at this point, honestly. Just sort of hope that it doesn't go wrong. But at least I didn't die. That's always good. That's always good. I can't wait for this fight. Hopefully, it's cool.
Yeah.
Huh? All of it? What do you want to put it towards?
Kill the animals.
Kill the animals. Huh? Kill the animals?
Ladies and gentlemen, we just got a $100 donation to kill the animals. So if you want those animals saved, you'd better get donating.
The animals are gonna die.
Explain this fight.
Alright, so this is Roxas. So this is pretty much just abusing his revenge value. We know what his revenge value is, so we're going to hit it and we're going to retaliate. He's going to retaliate. We're going to punish him for it. We're going to loop him. We loop him a specific number of times because we always know when he's going to retaliate. However, after a certain amount, we have to switch up our combos to make sure we keep hitting that revenge value. Alright. So, now we're going to finish him off by going into Limit Form here. Limit Form does a lot of damage with Zentetsuken and Ars Arcanum. Now, if we let this guy have free reign, he's going to deal a lot of damage very quickly. So, being able to loop him like that and force his retaliation is pretty much like the only way to do this fight on this difficulty at this level.
Yeah, that's that is one of the coolest fights in the run. All of the endgame fights in the world that it was just look really cool to watch. Like, they just are visually appealing.
I've already put it in the tracker. I mean, the incentives, it just needs to go to the tracker.
Yeah, we'll have to use these because we can't use those because global hotkeys are on.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with it.
So it's and a bit more.
Oh, I think one of them's invisible. This is bad. Yep.
Oh, it is. So, what I was mentioning before, with the invisible Dragoons, just happened there. That was very scary.
Come on. Okay, there we go.
You really shouldn't have betrayed us.
Okay, so this is Xigbar. So, this fight, he's going to be in the air all the time, so we've equipped the hero's Crest Keyblade. Now, the way this fight works, after 3 shots, he will take time to reload. That's the perfect time to get in and stun him. Now, we're going to be using Duck Flare in order to deal a lot of damage to this guy. And these are very specific combos that Liquid's doing right now in order to get him to retaliate in a specific way and deal a certain amount of damage. Because what we want to do is we want to put him right to the HP threshold where he would DM, and then we're just going to deal all that damage and skip it. So we're going to go Master Form here, and Master Form does a lot of damage. And while he's doing these reflects, these aren't adding revenge value, so he can do as many of these as he wants, but he's not actually going to force Xigbar to retaliate. Here's a cool thing, using fire to keep him stunned, and then going into Duck Flare. So now we can use this Duck Flare, keep him stunned, and take Xigbar out.
Good fight, really. So this is the last time we're going to change Keyblades, if I can get there. Just Decisive Pumpkin for ground combos, and we'll just use that for the rest of the game. It just does the most damage and is the quickest, obviously.
Fireworks to celebrate, hooray! Alright, so the next fight coming up here is Luxord, the guy who likes to gamble. The way this fight works is, instead of having a health bar, he has a time bar, which slowly runs down over time, but also runs down as we deal damage. We also have a time bar, but we can also die by losing all our health. Now, the way this fight works is, we're going to try and get him into a sort of loop by constantly hitting his revenge value. But he can retaliate in one of two ways. He can either use cards, or he can do the challenge. Ideally, we want him to use the challenge, because it's the thing we can most effectively punish. Now, partway through this fight here, his revenge value actually changes. So he will actually take less hits from now on to retaliate. Yeah, as you can see, doing air combos against the wall like this can lead to unfortunate results. Sora can bonk because he's a bit weird.
This is rough.
So yeah, ideally we would want to be down the bottom on the flat ground to avoid bonking. Unfortunately, this is some really bad RNG right now. The cards move takes a really long time and cannot be punished as well as the challenge. What we're going to try to do once we get him to low enough health is we're going to do a Trinity to keep him stun locked and run out the time, and then go into limit form and really take him out. There's a thing we do here called ether buffering, where if we throw an ether and then use a limit, it will actually restore our MP. So now, 1 or 2 hits in between to keep him stunned and run out the time gauge. Oh,
wow, okay.
And then the controller drops an input.
Yeah. It's alright, it's not that bad.
So, failing the DM skip loses about 20 seconds, but it's not the end of the world. It's not a particularly difficult DM to deal with. You just have to do a mini game, hit all the circles.
Yeah, this is what we normally would have skipped if I had to push the circle button, but because I just missed the button entirely, just had to sit through it. It's not that bad.
Alright, so the Sykes fight, this is the next organization member. He has a berserk bar in the top left, and once it maxes out, he goes into a sort of like mini DM sort of phase, like this. He can't be stunned, and he takes minimal damage in this phase, but if we grab a claymore, we can actually stagger him out of it.
I'm really trying for a dumb strat. If I fail it, I'll just use the backup. It's not that big of a deal.
So ideally the way this works here is we keep hitting his revenge value, and what we can actually do is we can actually chain reflect finishes to do a lot of damage. But while we're hitting his revenge value, he won't actually go into his berserk.
This won't work. I have to do a backup. Nice.
Alright, good backup, good save. Another strat there that you can use is Peter Pan. Peter Pan can actually stun lock Sykes indefinitely as long as you don't use finishes. Okay, so we're up to the last boss before the final boss rush. This is Xemnas. Now, this is a lone fight with just Sora again. And what we're going to be seeing is a technique called Reflect, Slapshot, Reflect. What it is actually chaining Reflects in the same combo to get multiple instances of Reflect damage by separating them with a Slapshot. But first we have to do this building RC. Now, because of the damage buff that this received in Final Mix, we want to do the final reaction command here. There are actually 3. We want to do the third one.
Yeah, reaction boost, because we have 2 of them, actually does a lot more damage as well, so compared to beginner.
So here you're going to see Reflect, Slapshot, Reflect, and Guard Break to stun him out of it. You do a lot of damage really quickly this way. Alright, so that short combo, by pressing an input in between, it's just long enough to cancel out once more. So he had the Trinity there for safety. But now we can just go into limit form and kill him.
It's gonna cut it close. I think I'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Oh, easily, yeah. That's what I'm worried about.
Good fight. So pretty much we just want to skip him doing the building twice. At about under 1.5 bars, he will do the building again, but that's slow.
So now this is essentially the final boss rush. We just got to get rid of the core, which is just the main center of the dragon that Xemnas is sitting on top of. We have to get rid of 2 armor Xemnases, and then the dragon itself, and then final Xemnas. I messed up the order there, but yeah, that's just how many there are.
Okay, so the first part of the final fight here is the engines. So what we pretty much just want to do here is just spam Magnet, because Magnet is going to one-shot these bombs into the engines. So right here, Liquid's about to go into Master Form to refill his MP. Master Form is actually extremely useful for the next part of the fight as well, the core. So a funny thing about Master Form's version of Magniga, it actually hits multiple times, and it triggers the core to spawn enemies early. Because we can actually confuse the core into thinking we're doing a lot of damage in a short amount of time and just force it to spawn enemies. The reason we want to do that is because we don't want it to drop its giant claws down, because those one-shot us. Now we're going to be seeing more Master Form Genie with Magnet here. Hopefully we can take out this entire wave very quickly. The tricky thing about this fight is positioning yourself so that you don't get pushed away, although sometimes it can still be random because of the large hitboxes of some of the enemies. Now what Liquid's going to be doing here is finisher cancelling. By using Riku's reaction command after his second finisher, it cancels his finisher and makes the game think we have an extra finishing plus. So we can do another finisher. You can actually do these finishes infinitely if you time it correctly. But that's a lot easier with air combos, as you'll see right here.
Fun fact about that actually also works with changing Genie's drive forms. I found that out, what, a couple of months ago?
Yeah.
It's really, really weird.
It's also really, really difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, Summon Stitch because we want to constantly have MP for this fight. Also, we really don't want our party members pushing us out of the way, which they can. Yeah. So we have to be really careful. See, this fight, Liquid knows exactly when he's going to retaliate. Liquid's doing these combos very specifically because Xemnas' sword one-shots you.
That was a bit scary. Alright, so now we probably got like... This fight sort of slows down the entire endgame. So it's really unfortunate, but so if you have any donations, you can read them. Or if you want to plug or whatever.
We don't have any donations, but I will take this opportunity to plug our charity, which is Beyond Blue, raising mental health awareness in Australia. It's an amazing charity, and you can donate. Donate through the links provided on our page, or if you're here at Avcon tonight, you can donate in person. All donations are very much appreciated, and we have plenty of incentives you can choose to donate towards. On this station tomorrow, we will have Super Metroid, and so the Kill or Save the Animals bid war is going strong. Right now, Kill is very much in the lead by over $100, but if you're very keen about saving those few pixelated animals, then you can donate to save, or if you want to make sure that the frames are safe but the animals have a horrible, horrible death, you can continue to make sure that Kill wins that. There's also donation
Kill
incentives for Vex, the Glitch Showcase, and the Hop and Drop minigame. Both of those are yet to be met, so please get your donations in. And there's plenty on Station 1 as well. Just let us know. If you have any questions, just let us know either in person or in the chat, and we'll be happy to answer.
So pretty much the only thing to really note in this fight is pretty basic. You just absorb energy, use Mega Laser, kill things. From KH2 English, this dragon was actually nerfed. All of his parts had their health drastically reduced, and the damage of Mega Laser was actually buffed, so this fight goes a lot faster in Final Mix.
Oh yeah, and finisher cancelling works here too. I don't know why this is a thing, but it is.
Infinite finishes. You can do it with the shield as well.
Yeah, you can.
Funny thing, some of those bombs, if you don't kill them at the end of that wing, can actually appear here and just blow you up.
No. Come on. Oh, this is slow now.
Alright, so now, much like the previous boss, we've got Armored Xemnas 2, which is the same boss, except he has HP barriers where he knocks you away and you've got to do some parkour on some buildings. Well, not really parkour, you just smack him at him. Yeah. Cool thing about this fight is that it actually gives you all of your growth abilities: dodge roll, high jump, aerial dodge and glide, and quick run. It max levels all of them, but only for this fight.
Yeah, I get everything, and I didn't level it up or anything at all. Oh, that's right, that was the thing.
The other interesting thing is you can't actually go limit form in this fight. This fight was never programmed to have dodge roll in it in the original release. So to avoid having to program it in, because obviously Sora can't aerial dodge and glide while in limit form, they just made it so you can't actually use it at all.
I actually did a really small skip there. Usually after you do any building RC, snowflakes appear and they shoot lasers at you. But if you aerial dodge out of the RC, then it skips that part of the fight. It's a small time saver.
Those building spawns that run at you like that, they are random. However, the other buildings that we can actually use the reaction command of are all set spawns. We know where they're going to spawn, so we can use that to our advantage to position ourselves quite well. In this final phase of the fight, his revenge value changes, so you have to be very careful when doing combos, especially with double finishes. But yeah, now we're up to the final boss. Blub. Okay, so this is Final Xemnas. So he's going to start the fight by trying to grab you and throw you up in the air. We don't want to do that, so we're going to reflect it. And by using very specific reversals and reflects here, we can actually do about 2 bars of damage. Alright, so now eventually he's going to come down, and we want him
Eventually.
we just want him to run into us so we can reflect and then use Session. Oh, wait, Trinity.
Yeah. Like a couple of days ago.
Clearly I am not up to date on my strats. Okay, so we're going to use Limit Form here. The idea is we want to actually skip his laser phase. We want to force him to grab us, and then we're going to reflect a lot to force him into his final phase. So at about 0.8 bars of health, he does the laser dome move. It's about a 1.5 minute long move and cutscene, which allows us to then put him down to 1 HP.
Oh, come on. Alright.
Okay, we got
Not
it.
bad.
Laser dome.
That's fine.
So now it's pretty much mash triangle and circle. And then this will put him down to 1 HP, and he will not be able to attack. He will just be stunned forever.
And this is a 1 minute long half cutscene. Even if I got him to 1 HP, I wouldn't be able to kill him. You have to watch this to be able to end that fight.
Are you going to do swag finish?
No.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Not today.
That's fine.
So by the looks of this is a 341, which is still second place. That's pretty good. That's what I was
really
going for
good.
here, so pretty happy with that. So I'd like to plug the KH leaderboards. If anyone's interested in learning or wanting to watch more runs of this game, go to khleaderboards.com. It'll redirect you to a speedrun.com page. All the times are on there, and yeah, all world records, everything. So Go check that out. Just wait a minute.
Wait.
Hey!
Close enough.
That's close enough.
I thought you were actually going to hit the fire.
Yeah, I thought it was too.
Very good.
Thank you. So yeah, that is Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix Critical Mode, any percent. What was that? 2 deaths and I think like $28 or something I'll donate.
Yeah.
As well as to the swear jar because I'm a bad person. I believe the glitch incentive got met.
Yes, the Out of Bounds Glitch Showcase has been met.
I gotta find the right file. Okay, so before I go, I had a donation incentive to show off Cavern of Remembrance Out of Bounds. If anyone has played this game on 2.5 or 2FM or whatever, the Cavern of Remembrance is like an upgraded, like has upgraded Heartless basically, and they destroy you. So, but there is a way to actually glitch out of bounds and see the outside of it, which is really cool because it's all one giant room, and I'm going to show that. I don't know what file it is. I think it's the bottom one. That one? I think it's that one. I hope it's that one. I might have actually been the 340s. I'm pretty sure the time was off like quite a bit. I know, I might go back and look at that. Alright, so as everyone knows, once you complete the Cavern of Remembrance, a pathway shows up here normally, but I haven't completed it, so obviously it hasn't shown up here at all. Now, and I'm going to prove that again by showing that the first fight isn't complete at all. I hope I have drive recoveries. I'm not sure if I do. Let me just check something. Yep, okay, we're good. So yeah, this first fight isn't complete. I haven't even touched Cavern of Remembrance at all, so obviously I haven't touched this. There's no way I could have gotten through. So what I'm going to show off here is, it's two things I want to show off in here. There's a part of that area back there where you can hide from the enemies. You can spawn them and just hide. So with a specific setup, you can get under here. And with Master Form hovering, pretty much what happens whenever you leave Master Form, you get another aerial dodge. So it can use that to go up. And I am currently behind the loading zone. If I edge forward, if I can get it. Yeah, I'm behind the barrier where I'd normally be, so they can hit me. So I'm still very much in danger. But it's just, yeah. Alright, so, and there's one other thing that you can do. Normally, to get through the Cavern of Remembrance, you have to do 2 Heartless waves and 3 Nobody waves. And the last Nobody wave takes about, what, 10-ish minutes almost, or something like that. Can I get down there? Thank you. So, Donald, move. Alright. Oh, nice. So, with a lot of hovering and using drive recoveries, I can hover until I run out of drive recoveries. I have enough to get to the top. So from out here, you can see what the outside of Cavern of Remembrance looks like. It's absolutely massive because it's just one giant room. And it also has some weird loading mechanics. I don't know why that happens. And normally, once you beat everything in here, you get to the data organization. So let me get up here. I don't want to pull a Norego.
Speaking of, he's in the chat.
So, right here is the door to get to the nobody sections. I have to be careful here. And remember how I said earlier in the run that loading zones don't exist until you hit a certain trigger? This is an exception. For some reason, this one is just here. I don't know why. And nothing spawns. I don't know why this happens, but nothing just spawns. I'm guessing it's not like activated yet. And going into this room, we're put into some sort of debug room. Like all the datas are here and all the chests are here. But if I try to fight one of the datas, it just doesn't work. I don't know why. And this is also, I'm pretty sure this is a debug room of some sort because I haven't beaten any of the datas. They're all blue. They're meant to be red if you've beaten them. But this chest is available to me. So I currently have the bronze crown and I just got the silver crown without doing anything in the game. So it pretty much breaks the game in some sort, but well, not really. It's just like, it gives you a free crown, essentially. Just a couple of, learn how to master form hover and a couple of drive recoveries and you're good to go. So yeah, that was Cabin of Remembrance Showcase. Hope you all enjoyed it.
Do you want to show leaving?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. All right, so I just want to make sure I have enough for this. All right, so something interesting happens when you leave. There's about to be a lot of red. A lot of red. And I'm not sure why this is a thing. I can't glide, I can aerial dodge once, and I can do this. It's like, you can fall forever. I think there was one member of the KH community, his name's Ace. He fell for, I think, 72 hours. The game lagged, it didn't crash. That's how solid this game is built. But yeah, that's the core Cabin of Remembrance Showcase. Hope you all enjoyed it.
Very good.
All right, that was an awesome run and showcase, Liquid. Thank you very much for that. Don't go anywhere. We've got one more run for you here on Station 2 tonight, and it's Font with Mega Man 4 any percent. Chat, we are so close to $2,400. I reckon we can hit it very soon. And just a reminder that we are the Australian Speedrun Marathon. We are streaming to you live from AvCon in Adelaide. Currently on Station 1, we have LEGO Star Wars, the complete